two, one. Blog Talk Radio.
Down goes Frazier.
It's over the wall. It's a home run for Bucky Bench. Bumble. Giants have it. Lawrence Taylor struck the ball.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
With the players.
Come on, rise direct from hell's final pass.
But hey, enough of my yakking. What do you say? Let's boogie.
And welcome to the show. Live from high atop Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are the Hard Rocket Sports Show. You're live, 3-hour weekly get-together where we bring you all the biggest news around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. And, folks, I have to tell you, it's the first time I can think of maybe ever on the show I actually sat in front of this mic and just don't want to do the show. I am fed up with sports. I'm fed up with people in general. And I'll tell you why. Okay? We're going to be a little political tonight. You know, I can deal with the regular politics. That's politics. I actually find it fun when people can bicker and have debates and be passionate about a candidate or a party. I'm all for it. I think that's really something I've learned later in life than I did growing up. I was never really a big guy in that. But you know, the one thing I've always treasured is with sports, and I love sports, is that it was a few hours, whether I was playing or watching or even just reading. It was a few minutes, a few hours a day where you can just get away from everyday life. You know, you didn't have to think about your bills for a few minutes. You didn't have to think about, you know, maybe somebody sick in your life or just you know, being miserable, hating your job, whatever. You know, sports allowed you to have that time. And it's now being robbed from us. And listen, I think athletes, I think people have a right to their voice. I mean, whether they're, you know, whether an athlete or a musician or an actor, if they're passionate about what they have, I agree with that. I think they have the right to do it, to voice it any way they want. My thing is, don't do it while I'm paying to see it. Okay, and that goes for the people I believe in or people I follow. But when I turn on a football game or a baseball game or a hockey game, whatever, I just want to watch the game. I don't want to hear about it. And I just don't understand, why are people rushing to judgment on this whole Jacob Blake thing? I mean, you got teams wearing this guy's name on a helmet. Now, listen, what happened to him may be a tragedy. I have no idea. I've watched the videos. There's a couple. I've read and listened to everything out there. There seems to be a lot more to the story than what people are actually talking about, but I'm not rushing to judgment. I'm not saying the cops are innocent. I'm not saying they're guilty. And to me, whatever happened to him before, if he could have did a double homicide on a nun and a baby driving to church 2 days before, and it wouldn't matter to me because it's only about that instant. So this isn't, well, the guy's a bad guy, so it doesn't matter what happens to him. That's far from the truth here. Folks, it doesn't matter who he was. If what happened to him was not right, then the cops should be dealt with accordingly. But we got teams running around there, people running around out there canceling games, leagues are having protests over something that might come up and blow up in their face. And what are we going to say? Well, he got shot 7 times. We're going to get to that. When is it? I'm going to say this. When is it okay for a police officer to make sure he goes home at night to his family? I saw that today. Somebody put that there. It was Stan Van Gundy, that moron. Oh, the cops, that's what they get paid for. They chose this line of work. They're there to protect us. Well, you know what? They're also there to protect themselves. No cop woke up and took this job and said, well, I don't care if I get killed and don't go home to my family. You effing moron. You effing moron. Now, whether Jacob Blake should have adhered to their commands to stay, whether they follow policy or not, I have no idea at this point. We got to let it play out. But for people to be putting this guy on Mount Rushmore already is just a sign of the times. And I am fed up and tired right now with sports. I mean it. Like, I literally had to force myself the last couple of days to read anything, watch anything when it comes to sports. I just don't care. I don't care if these guys go away and never, ever, ever, ever come back. I'm dead serious. I will just go on YouTube and watch old football games and old sporting events, and I'll follow. I'll go track down wrestling. Guys, I had to get this off my chest tonight, and it's going to be a part of this show. All right, because the athletes have made it. If I got to hear one more time, that these guys can't walk down the street, you can. Just don't commit a crime, and don't disobey the cops, right or wrong. Just don't disobey the cops. Nothing good comes of it. If I taught my kids anything in this world, it's that. Right or wrong, the cops are going to win. They may need 1, they may need 51, but they're going to get enough people there to make sure they do the job. You're not going to get away. They're not going to let you walk away. Guys, it just makes no sense. Wait, hear it out. And then if the cops get off and when they should go to jail, then burn the city down. I'm with you. I light the torch. But these guys might not have done anything wrong. And if I hear one person tell me, well, they shouldn't have shot him 7 times. Well, what's enough? What if they shoot him twice and he wheels around and shoots them in the face? Police are taught to shoot until the person is dealt with. And that means drop to the ground, stop shooting, stops doing whatever they were doing. I'm sorry, folks. I am passionate about this. And for all of these leagues and for all of these players, just be out there putting this guy's name on their helmet. Please, God, dear God, don't embarrass yourselves, because if it comes out, he's already said, I had a knife. They've already proven they tried 3 different ways to take the guy down. At some point, when do the cops have the right to go home to their family? When is it okay for a cop to make sure he gets to go home? They didn't go there by happenstance. They didn't drive up and say, let's get involved. Somebody called, and that guy had a warrant for his arrest, and they were doing their job. God help us, folks. I just mean that God help us, because I've about had it. But let's get the show started. Jeff's on the line. We got Carmine, the doctor, calling in at 7:30. Maybe we'll do a little political stuff, maybe outside of this. Rafael Esparza, our head odds maker at mybookie.ag, will be on at about 8 o'clock. And Jeff and I have some stuff to talk about. Maybe we'll try to find something in the world of sports to talk about. But let's get the backbone of the Hard Rocket Sports Show up. He had a rough time getting some Chinese food tonight, so maybe this will make him feel better. Hefe, what's up?
What's up, man? What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, brother. I'm sure you heard my rant for a couple of minutes there. I'm curious.
I actually shut the volume off, man.
You did?
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I'm so tired of hearing about politics every fucking which way I turn. If I could run away someplace right now and not hear about fucking politics and these fucking idiots getting shot and everything else, it'd be a better day. Every fucking which way you turn, there it is.
But that was my point of my rant, which you didn't listen to. I
heard enough of it, and no offense, man. I understand, but I can't deal with this shit no more. I really can't. It's every fucking place, everywhere you go.
Yeah, I agree.
Bullshit.
Which is my point is, the one place we could run to hide you know,
Matter of fact, if you look at the
Sports.
bottom of the screen, I see it on the StreamYard now. Patrick, I can't pronounce your last name, but
oh yeah,
everything you said, sports is sports. It's not politics. You're right. When you said that earlier, and just to show you that I was listening, okay, when you said that sports is a way to escape. It's something that you watch, or you
Yeah.
get involved with, so you could enjoy yourself,
Mhm.
take your mind off of things that are going on in life, not to constantly have it. You can't fucking turn
yeah.
around without somebody ramming this shit in your fucking mouth.
Jeff, I was on ESPN for the last 2 days just trying to come up with some topics for tonight. Just, like I always do. I visit ESPN and Bleacher Report, and everywhere you go, all you're reading is it. And I'm going, and I swear to God, Jeff, that's it. That's exactly how I felt. I was just like, I'm fed up with it.
NFL.com has nothing new to report the last couple of fucking days. The same shit. Nothing has been refreshed. No articles have been added.
Yeah.
All about, nothing that we really need to know. It's unfucking believable. It really is. It is so fucking sad. And I got bad news for you, bro. It ain't gonna change. It really doesn't matter.
No, I agree.
November. This is here.
I
Just
agree.
Roll over, let it happen so that it stops. It's just too fucking much, man.
Jeff, I hope that's the part of my rant was that I'm just tired of it. I don't want it in my if the athletes want to be role models or be a sport, go do it. But you know what? Between the lines in practice, let's just deal with sports. I mean, that's our and hey, Karen King, hi Deborah, hi Patrick. All the people listen. Karen King from Australia. Karen, I might be moving to Australia. Maybe to be better out there. Who knows?
There's fucking really bad poisonous things over there. Snakes and spiders and fucking koala bears. You don't need that kind of aggravation. You're better off staying here listening to this bullshit.
But Jeff, that was my point. Is like I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't want to get to a point where all we have to talk about is this. Like I was hoping to come out tonight. We were going to have a little fun with Carmine and a little bit of politics just to have some fun. But I was hoping we have some nice sports, football's around the corner, hockey's going on. And then all of a sudden, everybody's, they're putting monuments up for and I'm going, I just can't deal with it anymore. And I just said, I won't tell you the truth. We almost didn't do the show tonight. I have to be honest with you. For me, I just was like, I'm tired.
Listen, fuck that shit. I sent you a couple videos last night. Did
Yes.
you have a chance to watch?
Yes.
What did you think of those?
Let's see. Drop Bears Deadly. I'm sorry, I'm just reading something somebody wrote. I want to put it up on the screen in a minute. I want to put up I think I have the video from it. I want to see it, but it was, I don't know, Jeff. What how do I explain that one?
What's that? The videos?
Yeah. Have you got?
It's amazing where that man, so
Oh,
everybody knows, we're talking about The Undertaker and his very humble beginnings. It's
Yes.
wrestling in gyms and stuff like that while the
Mark
janitor was
Callis.
sweeping up paper. And how far along this man's career has come in the years that we've watched him and enjoyed him as The Undertaker. I've been stuck on an Undertaker kick.
I noticed that the last couple of weeks, but you know what, Jeff, that was one of the things I said when I was sitting there tonight, and literally could not find things to talk about. And I got a few things we can skirt around with the politics and all that, but was, you know what, we'll just do wrestling shows. We'll go back and get a whole bunch of old wrestling stuff and just get away from this. I mean, listen, I love politics. I think it's fun. I think it's nice to debate. It's a little too much right now, but this whole thing is just, we've sapped the life out of our thing.
The Mets just walked off the field, no game.
Yeah, I'd see Patrick's thing. And his, like, what is that accomplishing? Right now, all you're doing is turning people off to your message. And I say that all the time to people. It's not sometimes what you want to say, it's how you present it. And right now, anything these players are saying, I'm not listening to.
You don't have to listen to it. That's the thing. And like we've said before in the past, you just change the channel.
Yeah.
They're the ones, they don't realize what they're doing to their own sports,
Yeah.
what they're doing to their own futures.
Yeah.
Okay? So what are they doing? Okay. What they're doing is simply this. They're making it harder for people to sit back and watch. Okay. Sport like baseball. Let's just stick with baseball real quick.
Yeah.
All of the bitching, moaning, and crying that they did before the season started about how much money they were going to lose or how much money they were going to make. Now they're walking off the field and everything else. First of all, the New York Mets, what right do you even have to walk off the field? I couldn't even name 2 Met players, and the one I could name isn't even on the team anymore. Okay?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. You weren't involved. This wasn't a Met player.
Yeah.
Why are baseball teams and basketball and hockey? Why are hockey teams? Why are these teams getting so involved in this shit? Just go out and play the fucking game.
Yeah,
Just go out and play a game.
Yeah, and I think if you're a player, what you should be doing is providing something out there so people could take their minds off of this nuisance, this stuff. And again, forget about the people who just rush into judgment on the whole thing at any level. Sports should be different. And if the players want to be activists, then do that. Go out and hold rallies. Go out and walk amongst the people. You know what they should do? They all want to fix things. Go to Chicago on a Friday night and keep people from killing each other. You want to fix things?
That God couldn't do that.
You know what? You want to do something after your game. If you're the Milwaukee Bucks, you're so outraged. When you finish, instead of playing after you finish your game, take a ride over to Kenosha and walk the streets and keep people from burning down buildings. Or quit your job and go be a cop and show us how to really do this stuff. But this is what irks me. So these spoiled, rich players are going to tell everybody else how they should feel. I swear to God, I hope they all go away. I hope one of these leagues folds.
It's not going anywhere anytime soon. They're going to hold on to it because it's like now that when Colin Kaepernick kneeled a few years ago, the fucking moron commissioner in the NFL says, "Oh, we should have listened."
Yes.
All of a sudden, years later, he says, "We should have listened."
Yeah.
I still don't think that they should have listened to Colin Kaepernick of all people. I think he handled the situation wrong.
Of course.
Okay? Here's a chance for them to handle everything right.
Yeah.
And they're handling it wrong once again.
Yeah.
Let's walk. It's practice. Who gives a fuck if you practice or not? I don't play on the team. Your team is going to suck if you don't practice. You don't have any fucking preseason as it is. What the fuck you waiting for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Please.
Yeah, here's the thing. Rob Finelli, you're right. They could just go straight to Brooklyn and find enough shootings there. But here's the thing. If you really, here's what's gonna. I'll be impressed with something today. I read something today, and I want to get my dad on in a minute. Jared Kushner, who is Trump's son-in-law and one of his advisors, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to reach out to LeBron James and I'm going to invite him to the White House because I'd like to have a conversation on what they think or what we can do to try to make the situation better." I want to see if LeBron James will actually take him up on that and show up. If he does, I'll be impressed. I'm going to guarantee he won't do it because it's not for LeBron James. This is nothing about what's going on. This is about power. You read everything they say, well, LeBron wanted to not play. Then LeBron changed his mind, so everybody changed their mind. This is just about LeBron James exhibiting power and gaining power.
Listen, regardless of whether he's trying to exhibit power, whatever it is that he's doing, okay, if you're trying to make a point and Jared Kushner invites you to the White House and you want to really show that you're serious, you have to take that invite.
I agree with you.
You have to take that invite. You have to sit down. You have to be reasonable.
Yep.
Okay. But here's the thing. Here's my question. Who the fuck is LeBron James? And why are you the one that's going? What does you, the professional sports athlete, have anything at all to do in this situation? Okay. You've made the situations worse.
Absolutely.
You didn't make it better.
Nope.
You could have turned around. You could have sat down and said, listen, we want to talk to the people in the communities. Okay. We need to slow this down. We need to slow down the rioting. We need to slow down the destruction. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we could sit and talk to Kushner, Trump, Biden, whoever's willing to sit across the table from
Absolutely.
us. Then we can do it. We have to stop all of this destruction because destruction is going to be met with more force.
Yeah.
Okay? More force means more people getting shot, more people getting hurt, possibly more people getting killed.
Well, look what happened last night. Look what happened. Was it last night? I think it was. The police are not coming in to save and protect these stores and people. So now you got people, militias, people, individuals showing up with guns to protect, and now you got 2 people dead, 2 of the rioters, and I'm not calling them protesters; these are rioters.
Yeah, they
2
are
of them are
rioters.
dead.
And one guy
Because of
got
it.
his arm blown off.
Yeah. And I'm not saying what the kid who shot them did was right. He has no, to me, he has no, unless it was his store and he was protecting it, which he just doesn't look like it. He had no business to be there to try to play cop. But I also say, if the cops and the Democrats and the people running these towns aren't going to step up and protect them, then this is what's going to happen. People are going to arm themselves, and they're going to be jumpy, and they're not cops. So the wrong person is going to walk by the wrong place, and they're going to get killed for doing absolutely nothing because this is being allowed in so many cities.
Yeah. Yes, you're 100% right. It's 100% right. Now is the time. This is not getting any better. It's not getting any calmer. It's getting worse. They need to fucking send out the National Guard.
Yeah.
It does not matter whose town, whose city, whatever it is. Start squelching these fucking riots. You have to. It has to happen.
I agree. You guys, Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff Towinski, Tom Florio here talking anything but sports right now. Jeff's trying to pull me out of the funk because I'm just so tired of it. We do want to send out our prayers to all the people down in Louisiana and Texas and Arkansas, all those places where the Hurricane Laura hit last night. And I know there's 6 people dead. So we want to send out our own little message of hope and prayers, and hope everybody's okay out there. And hopefully it'll get better quick. But it ain't getting better.
Just change my banner because I'm going to save the world.
Listen, I told you a couple years ago I'd vote for you. Let's get my dad on. Maybe he's got something better to talk about for a few minutes, and then I'm expecting the doctor Carmine Glorioso at about 7:30, and then about 8:00 we got Raphael to talk a little bit about the.
I'm interested to see what Raphael thinks about, with everything in its current state, what it's going to do to the sports world and the betting world.
Yeah, I think it's going to hurt them because I think a lot of people are going to be turned off to sports.
Is it ever going to come back?
That's a great question. Yeah, let's get that on one up. Let's get my dad on. He's been hanging for a little bit. And let's see. Hey, Pop.
Hey, guys.
What's up, Pop? How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, Jeff.
Yeah.
Hello, Jeff.
How
How are you?
All right. How's it going?
I'm very good. I'm listening to you guys. To be honest with you, to me, I'm hearing it on TV. I'm turning this on to listen to you guys to hear sports. I'm tired of hearing Jeff said all this bull with people getting shot, and I understand both sides. I've seen both sides of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Remember in the 50s and the 60s, they used to do it. They used to. Well, I like rather sports. Talk about sports.
Yeah, me too, Pop. The problem is right now the players are taking it away from us now. That's the problem. I mean, I would love that. This the last thing I want to be talking about. The problem is
I understand.
everybody stop playing.
The problem. No, the Mets just walked off the field with the Marlins, and they're doing it the sissy way. They're coming back in an hour, and they're gonna first pitch at 8.
But here's the thing.
So it shows you how much commitment they got to it if they so-called.
I mean, well, what are they actually accomplishing? All they've done is take a bunch of people who were probably 50-50 watching them and made them stop watching. I won't watch it right now. I'm so fed up with sports. I don't want to watch anything.
Unfortunately,
I think the whole year is shot.
Yeah, I agree.
They should just cancel.
Yeah.
I have no interest in hockey because I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I think the problem is
at baseball.
Yeah, I think the problem is the NBA wanted to shut it down. I think the players did. I think the players wanted to shut it down, and they realized that if they shut it down, they may never come back to half of what they were. And the owners got afraid of it, and they said, "You guys got to play." I believe that they were talked into playing because I think it was suicide had they shut it down, and especially if they shut it down, it turned out that it was justifiable. Now, again, I have no idea whether it was or not. I wasn't there. I want to see all the evidence, but from the outside looking in, I got to go. It's questionable whether this guy didn't bring this on himself, but I don't want to see anybody get killed.
I don't. It's hard to say unless you're a cop and you got to make that judgment. Who's right? Who's wrong? I've seen both sides of the story, and I don't know. Is the pendulum going to turn? I don't think it'll ever. The country of all different peoples, and you're never going to get along with everybody. And you have 24-hour news service.
Yeah,
and all they do is publicity, and they flame to put gas on the fire. I don't care who it is.
Exactly, but here's the thing.
Fox.
You're never, ever, ever, ever going to get rid of racism in this country. That's racism from white to black to white, Hispanic. You're never going to get rid of racism. I don't care what you say, what you do. We can hold hands and kumbaya. You're never going to, because we're a country of free thinkers. We're allowed to think for ourselves. We're allowed to like who we like and dislike who we like because we are free thinkers. I don't like racism. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying you're never going to get rid of racism in this country ever. It's never going to go away.
You don't have to be a proponent of racism. Racism, unfortunately, is going to happen. Like you said, animals, right, who can't think, don't like other animals for whatever reason.
Yeah.
What makes you think that people are going to be accepting of other people just because racism is wrong? Yeah, it is wrong, and it's not right, but it's not just going to stop because everybody says that it's got to stop.
I agree.
It's like saying, what, I'm going to go take the front lock off my front door because I tell everybody don't come in while I'm not here. And I expect all my stuff to be there, and you should do the same. Yeah. I'm going to leave the keys in my car so I don't forget them in the morning. Just walk right out, get in the car, and start it up. Because I told people, please don't steal it. It's not going to work that way.
No,
it's going to work that way.
No, it's unfortunate, and like I said, I like to have this show where people.
The easiest way to say to do, you have to.
What, Pop? Dad? Yeah, go ahead. You
no. I'm saying,
go ahead.
The easiest thing is just what you do. Don't watch sports.
Yeah.
Don't watch sports.
The problem,
even when they come back, don't watch it. That's the only way for you to protest.
Pop, I agree with you. The problem is this: this show's called a Hard Rock and Sports Show. So if I don't watch sports, like today, I'm telling you, Dad, today, I all I did was scan around trying to find different stories to talk about, and like I do every week. And I'm going, I got nothing. All I got is this goddamn protests and riots. What am I talking about this week?
Yeah. But Tommy, what you're doing now is what you're complaining that they're doing.
I agree.
You're talking about the same thing that they're doing on TV. If you totally ignore them.
No, I agree that I agree.
You're doing what they're doing. Like you said, people talking not hard about killing.
Pop, I got you. I just wish I wish there was a plethora of things. I was even hoping we'd have hockey. I'd bring up some hockey stuff. I've been watching some of the games. It's been actually the games have been okay, but now they're another one not playing right now. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I agree with you. First time in my life I could say I really don't care about sports. That's the first time in my life.
It's a shame.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going to happen if it's.
I don't know, Pop. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see down the line. Hey, all I can say is the Yankees. They got Malloy Kid by our next guest, and they're playing like crap, and they might as well open up the training room in a local hospital. And I think my next guest is partly
the wheelchairs out there for them.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Now, Judge comes.
I'm gonna let you guys go.
Thanks, Pop.
Dude.
Pop.
All right, talk to you guys later.
You got it, Dad. Thanks. That's my daddy.
Take care, Jeff.
See you later.
See you later, Pops. Thank you. That's my daddy. Checks in every week.
I feel bad for him because he's having trouble with the thing. It reminds me of years ago when you used to watch the news with your parents or your grandparents, and they'd be like fighting in Beirut, and there'd be this reporter like hanging out in the basement of a motel someplace where bombs are going off and everything would freeze. And that was like your dad, our reporter from Beirut today.
Hey guys, Jeff and Tom, Hard Rockin' Sports. Hopefully we'll get to some sports soon. But if you guys got something you want to throw out there, throw it up on the comment page, and we'll try to get to some talking about it. But we're here 7 to 10. Hopefully back here next week. And we'll close. I mean, I don't know. Right now, I'm hoping September 10th we'll be doing our NFL preview show. We do it every year, first game of the season on a Thursday night. I don't know where we stand, huh?
Never mind that. We have something bigger coming up on fucking Saturday.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. Gotta be honest. I am a little nervous about it because there's a lot involved in this one, and
I got a little confession to make.
Go ahead.
There is a song that I did not learn.
Oh yeah, which one?
Do you want to know ahead of time, or do you want to find out Saturday?
Well, I'm going to guess. Can I guess?
Sure.
Mama Kin.
Yeah, that was a pretty good guess, man. Too bad Raphael wasn't on. We could have put odds on that thing.
Yeah, I had the feeling that was going to be the one. I actually learned it. I wouldn't say I have it nailed, but I've learned it, and I've got pretty much everything else.
I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to try my best on.
That's not a song to follow on. Believe me, it's a tough song. It's a lot of changes.
It's going to turn into one. Definitely.
Yeah, it's a very tough song to play. Because one, I'm not familiar with it. I got a feeling so if that one goes out the window. I got a feeling there's another one that might not get played, and we'll see. Again, I'm looking forward.
What's the other one you think might not get played?
Ball and Chain. I got a feeling some others.
Listen, I can already see it. I'm not going to.
Yeah, I learned it.
Be a fucking free for all Saturday. This is going to be maybe
3 songs.
Yeah. There's going to be other songs to do. It is what it is. Listen,
Absolutely.
Let's go out. We're all first time that we're going to be able to meet up at the pandemic. I mean, who may be in the studio with a mask on? I bet you. Is Jimbo going to have a mask on?
I don't know. We got to get odds from. Raphael. On who wears a
I
mask.
don't know these people. He's going to think that they're odd in the first place. So.
We do. We think everybody's odd. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but at least we get to be in the same room for a couple hours, and we'll see where it goes. But let's get the doctor on.
Because we can't even go someplace and get a fucking slice of pizza if it doesn't.
That's true. We have to order in, but guys, we're going to do a little more light on the politics now. I've realized there's a lot of people out there that don't know who they're going to vote for. There's people who just don't like either candidate. They don't know what they want to do. They may not vote at all. Who knows? But I think it's a very important election. And I wanted to invite, I had a couple people invited. And I put a message out there for Democrats. Somebody wants to call up and plead the Joe Biden case. So one of our guests decided they couldn't make it tonight. That was Tina Forte. But the good doctor said he would still come on. And all I wanted them to do was come on and make the case for Donald Trump. Why should guys like Jeff, who are basically doesn't really care, doesn't believe in either one?
Well, you know, I'm glad that he's doing this. You know why? Because I have some questions. Okay, I don't think that either one of these fucking guys is the answer. I just don't. All right, because all of this stuff is happening under Trump, and it could get worse under Biden. All right, it just I don't know what way to turn at this point in time. So I actually have a few questions for Carmine.
All right, well, let's get the good doctor on. And the one thing I would say is this. If anybody wants to see what could possibly happen, just think to the thoughts of the people who voted for Big Bird in New York City and what that's turned into with what's the worst that could happen. So hold on, let's get the good doctor on. He's the smartest man in the room.
Tommy, great fucking entrance. And I heard your question, Jeff, but the answer that Tommy gave was the real thing. How about that motherless fucking cocksucker that's running New York City? Could you do any fucking worse than what's going on there?
No. We could. I guess stick Jeff in there, half in the bag, and he would do a better job.
Right. Or you could fucking castrate me, put me in a fucking dress, and I'll still do a better job than that fucking jerk off. Listen, this is a divide, guys, and you guys all know. But I came from a very bad neighborhood, Jamaica, Queens, and I was the last white to leave. Now, there were many, many beautiful black families there, good people, hardworking people, education, wanted right in their life. And then there was the fucking dirtbag lowlifes. Well, when I moved to Staten Island, I realized, holy shit, I've seen worse people, and they were fucking Italian. So in my eyes, you got to look at what is going to be fucking worse. You may not like Trump, and I don't love him. I love the things he says. He would have never been president if the fucking morons on the left said what they've been saying for years. Guys, we want to build a wall too. We got to keep it. That's what fucking Obama said. That's what Clinton said. Oh, Trump said it. Complete polar opposite. That's why he got in. Because people are sick of the fucking bullshit. And they could have did the same bullshit that they did then. Don't do a fucking thing. But take $47 billion and God knows what accounts they used to fucking flood that for 700 feet that they fucking built back then.
Yeah.
So that's the answer to that question of how bad could it be? You get fucking Biden. That fucking the kids play with my hair in the pool and I like roaches and I like kids sitting on my laps. What? The fuck? That's gonna run the country.
So
you might as well let him do it with the thumb.
So Carmine, I wanted you to come on and legitimately give Jeff the reasons why but Jeff said he has a couple of questions. So I want to let Jeff ask his questions, and then I'll let you kind of spell out why Donald Trump should be our president and why Jeff should vote for him. So Jeff, go ahead.
Let me give you my concerns.
Go ahead.
Okay? Because one, I know that Biden. First, I believe both candidates are too old. They're on the old side. I don't like.
I don't disagree.
Okay, that worries me alone. Although Biden seems to be sitting on the edge of the grave and just daring somebody to kick him in. Okay, at least I'll give Trump health. I'll give him a couple points higher. The thing that gets me, I don't like the way Trump handles himself. Okay, when it comes,
he's always been a jerk off.
Well,
I agree.
Yes, but we don't need the president of the United States being a jerk off with other countries and world powers. That worries me. I don't think Biden is going to know what to do. To be honest with you, I think his mind.
Sure, he knows what to do. He'll put his son in charge. He'll shake down fucking another 15 countries for about 40, 50 billion. He'll go into a fucking institution. Hey, look, Jeff, I see dementia. I had it in my family. I saw my mother deteriorate in front of me. And the things that he can't keep on topic on, they don't want to fucking put him in front of anybody. And it's not, listen, socialist ideas aren't bad ideas, but you got to have a plan on how the fuck are you going to pay for it. So I said, let's say you change free healthcare and you're going to be paying. So now, and this wouldn't even cover it. If you took 90% of everybody's fucking income, you're still short. Are you going to work? And oh, by the way, I make $100,000 a year, but really I make $10,000. But wait, we got free healthcare. I got an answer for that. Blow me. I put it down to my fucking Johnson.
Go ahead, Jeff. Give you next. Your next.
Jeff.
All right. Pertaining to Biden, it's quite obvious that the people that will be going out and voting Democrat this year are not voting for Biden. They're voting for Harris. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So is in your eyes, is this a presidential race between Trump and Harris?
I'll still take that. The one that I honestly say, oh fuck, we're fucked, is if the one that has the biggest dick that I've ever heard of in my life, Michelle Obama, if she put her 12-inch Chevrolet against it, we'd be in fucking trouble. Because the way this country is, and by the way, when I was driving home, I had this on, and I was listening to you guys. And then my fucking phone, the battery went dead. And I hear the Met game. And on the Met game, they're saying, well, you know what happens? They put the Black Lives Matter thing on home plate. They all walked off the field. Fuck these motherfuckers. Because the problem I have with that, and I'm not saying I know for a fact it was, these guys were justified in this shooting. Maybe they were, and maybe they won't. But every fucking major fucking incident, what is the one consistent fact that is always taking place? The answer? Not one of these motherfuckers comply. Put your hands behind your back. Had any of these things been done, all these fucking people that have been shot and beaten and fucking suffocated, would it have happened? This is my question.
No, definitely not.
Quite obvious. And a blind man could see that. Each and every single one of them had that common denominator, which is right.
That's it.
Apply.
Carmine.
And they're making like this is fucking the great fucking Dr. Martin Luther King.
Carmine, you know what?
Come on already.
Carmine, I said this before, and I'll say it again. One thing I've always taught my kids since they're little, I mean, you try to give them messages and words. I tell them the same thing all the time. Whether cops right or wrong, you are not going to win. They are going to keep coming with enough people or doing enough force to make sure you're going to comply one way or the other. So you might as well just comply, and it'll be over before you know it. But if you go the other way, if it takes them 55 people, 355 people, they're going to get you.
Yeah,
So
100% right, dude.
And to me, that should be the message that, and like I told Jeff before, if LeBron James and all these other athletes want to impress me, you want to save lives, stop playing, go to Chicago on a Friday night and walk the streets and tell people not to kill each other. I'll be impressed.
There you fucking go.
Then I'll be impressed.
There you go.
Yeah,
But Todd, you know what's disgusting to me is,
yeah.
And again, it was some demented motherfucker. You go up, the black guy shoots a 5-year-old in the fucking head right in front of them. Do you hear this? Could you imagine if that was a 5-year-old black kid being murdered by some white fucking supremacist?
Forget it. The world be up on fire right now.
And listen to me, and it is disgusting. Crime is crime. Wrong is fucking wrong. I hate how it's spin of it only gets flamed in a situation like this. And so here's my fear. We go through all this bullshit. We're in a divide worse than 1970, 71, 72. When I was a kid in Jamaica, Queens, when rights were just given to the blacks, and they had a fucking legitimate right. As an adult now, I could only say what I would have been like, and I faced the venom on the other side, being the only white kid in that neighborhood, and I had a lot of black friends that defended me. They didn't look at me as white. I was their friend, and they were my friend, which is why they are still my friends today. So it's got to a point where when you say the words Black Lives Matter, what about all lives matter? And if someone takes that as offensive, when in the fuck did all exclude blacks? All means everyone. And we should be able to have a common ground with that. I mean, Tom, I heard what you were saying before. I was in the car 3 times today. I had to turn off the fucking radio because of everybody tripping over the dick. Oh, this is right. This is not right. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Wait for the investigation. First, here's the thing. If it turns out that he was carrying a lollipop stick and he was trying to, check on his kids, and he kept telling them that.
Castrate them.
Then exactly right. But we've already gone out, and so no matter what happens now, here's the thing, guys. No matter what happens from this point on, they are not going to believe the outcome. They are going to vilify these cops no matter what happens, because they've already gone too far. They can't now come around and go, oh, we were wrong. We should not have protested. So no matter what happens, these cops are going to be vilified, and all it'll do is if they turn around and let these cops off or they don't lose their jobs, they'll just burn the cities.
You said something earlier, Tom, which I have to disagree with. And I'll explain why. So give me a second, because you said if you hear one more person say that they shouldn't have shot 7 times, okay? I personally, that guy was right there. All right, you chasing him around the car. There was 2 or 3 years on site. Nobody gets knowing that pulling a gun out at this point in time is just going to, no matter what the situation, however it ends, is going to make it worse just because you have that gun out. Why didn't you take a nightstick out and just club this guy over the head? You could have been, maybe this could have been over. He assaulted him with a nightstick, but he didn't shoot him. You know what I'm saying? They
Well,
were
here's the
saying
thing.
different
If
things
you
that
watch
they
the
could've
second video, they show him they were scuffling with him. No, I'm saying. So there's a second video on the other side of the car where they were wrestling with him and he broke away. They tried to tase him and he went right through the taser.
But you know what, Tom? That's fine. That's all well and good.
Okay.
This motherfucker walked around the car from the video that I saw. He
Yes.
didn't run to go to the car, and the cops walked behind him like two fucking retards. If
Again.
that was me,
Mhm.
you know, shoot him in the leg, shoot him in the ass if you're gonna shoot him. Take out your fucking nightstick, club him in the back of the fucking head.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the one thing I'll say to that is,
Other
and I say it to-
alternatives.
I'll say this.
You had to be subdued, but there were other things you could have done instead of shoot him 7 times less than a foot away.
Again, I'll say this, and I tell it right time. It's easy to say this, that to go, hey, I'm going to take my gun out, and think about it. It's all the adrenaline's running around, and say, I'm going to point my gun at his leg and shoot. Now, what if they shoot him in the leg, and he turns around and shoots you in the face?
Shoots them.
That's the thing, Jeff. Everybody has to understand that. I say this to everybody: if you shoot once or shoot twice, and then you look to see what happens, you're going to get shot. So, at what point do the cops have the right to make sure that they get to go home at night to their family? They didn't get called. They didn't just barge in. They were told to come there, and he had an arrest warrant. They had every right to pull off what they did. He did this, and again.
Listen, if you do not listen, Carmine said it right away. We've been saying it all along. Yeah. As soon as you do not comply, you're wrong.
That's the problem.
It's totally wrong.
Yes.
You can't justify anything after that.
See, right.
The only reason I say what I'm saying is because no matter what the incident is, it takes it from here to here to here to here. Every time something happens.
But at what point? What if he goes into the car? If they told him 100 times, stop, don't move, stop. What if he goes into the car, comes out with a gun, and does that?
If you had the time 100 times to turn around and say that, you had 100 times to do something else. I'm not saying
Do what? That's the question of the day. Do what?
Dude,
They've already tried to tackle him. Wait.
Going down.
But here's the thing: you've already tried tackling him. That didn't work. You've already tried tasing him. That didn't work. So at what point now is your life worth something so now they've pointed the gun, so we have a gun on you. He's still ignoring them.
2 guns.
Right. So they're still ignoring you at that point. At what point, when he walks over to that car, do you have to make the decision? If you're a cop, you have 1-2 seconds at that point to decide, is he coming out of there with a gun? Now here's the thing.
Am I forced to do something?
They were fucking close enough at one point where shouldn't even have gotten near the door of the car.
Again,
throw the nightstick at the back of his fucking head. They could have. I'm not saying that they didn't have to fucking stop him that way. Yeah. They had to stop him. It was quite obvious he had to be stopped.
Yeah,
he wasn't listening. He was going to an unknown source. You don't know what he was coming back with, without a doubt. But look at what they're putting themselves through right now. I
got it. But at that moment, again, cops are not taught to shoot to kill. Cops are taught to shoot to stop.
Of course.
So again, once you stop, you stop. But if I shoot you once, twice, 3 times, and you don't stop, what do I got to do? I got to shoot you 4, 5, and 6 times. I don't think it's right, Jeff. I think it's all disgusting. But here's the thing: the one person in this whole thing who had the ability to make this thing go away quickly didn't do anything at any point during that whole thing. He could have said, "I'm going to comply." From the first beat down.
That's it.
So let's not take this into that, because I think we beat it to death. We all got great points. I really just wanted Carmine to come on and say, "Hey, Jeff, this is why you should vote for Donald Trump and not Joe Biden." That's the.
I got one last question for Carmine.
Go on, Carmine.
To try to sway me, okay?
Bring it on. Bring it on, quick.
These 2 candidates that we have now.
Yep.
Which one is more capable of getting racial harmony back in line?
That's a great question.
You know why I'm laughing? All you got to do is go back into fucking Biden's history, how he thought having animals at school integrating was a fucking problem. So yeah, you can say the left would be the one that would be able to create it, and guess who would come out of the fucking hiding to get the fucking Nobel Prize? You want me to give you a hint? He spent 8 years in office and created Black Lives Matter. Is that your answer?
Listen, time will tell.
I would say this, Jeff. I will tell you that as a Donald Trump fan, that it would be Joe Biden, and I'll tell you why.
Right.
Because if he got in, he would placate everybody on that side of the table. Trump,
By far, my God.
And that's very well true.
and that's why there would be more racial harmony, because he would play into a lot of that. And again, people
That's
should be
exactly
dealt with.
true. But you know, the one thing that's going on is all this destruction and hate and everything else. None of these guys, you don't hear Biden 2020. You don't hear them chanting Biden's name. You don't see them carrying signs for Biden. It's all Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
There's nobody saying when Biden gets in office, this is going to be taken care of. When Biden
Not
gets
even Biden.
people on that
So
side
in
are
answer
saying
to
it.
that, Jeff, I got to say this. An answer to that I think is something you got to really put in your head and think about. I don't give a fuck if you took Martin Luther King and put him in office. The next shooting of another black individual,
It's just going to escalate.
justified is just going to fucking be Flame City.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
how does that stop? Whether it's Biden, whether it's Obama, whether it's Obama didn't do shit. Oh, by the way, hold on, he did do shit. He said when shit was going on in Baltimore, he took the fucking governor and mayor and said, "Hey guys, get your fucking act together." Now, what he never did was he never came out and talked about calm. We need to be calm in this situation. We need to be rational. That was not ever fucking brought up once during Obama thing.
Yeah, I have to agree. And
I think he did more to inflame it.
No,
Am I
and
wrong
here's
on
what
that?
I would say, Jeff. And here's what I would point to. Joe Biden was vice president with the first black president in our history for 8 years, and they did not solve anything. He's giving me the Maloik.
I'm giving him the fucking Maloika that he has a stroke and he can't touch any more fucking children. That Biden cocksucker. Sorry.
But think about it. He was in office for 8. Forget about the 30-something years. He was a senator and all that stuff.
He didn't fucking who?
He
Biden?
didn't do fucking
He hasn't
nothing.
done
They all
anything.
didn't.
He didn't do anything for all the
Right.
years that he's there.
So why do I have to? But why should I believe right now that after at 77 years old, obviously has some mental issues, obviously doesn't have his faculties together? Do I believe that Joe Biden is finally going to come into office and accomplish something worthwhile?
Because he's fucked up. He doesn't know. He won't know. He'll
Right,
just
so-
sign whatever they put in front of him. He'll sign.
But here's what I would tell people: be careful, because if you want the truth, you want to see the smaller version of what could happen to this country. Just look at the bird brain that lives in the Gracie Mansion in Manhattan. That's the guy that you got to worry.
Captain
That's what
Jerkoff.
Yeah. And Jeff, you've been on more of a rant about him than me the last couple weeks.
Because Tom, I live in New York. Okay, Carmine, you in Jersey, correct?
Yep.
Okay. I can't go take my wife out for a slice of pizza and eat it indoors. This
That is
comes
fucking
out and
nuts.
says that eating indoors is a separation of the classes.
Yeah.
That middle class and upper class do it. Lower class can't. So we're not going to open it up. Like
That's
what
that's fucking retarded.
what kind of way of thinking is this? This guy doesn't watch himself. He may have a bigger problem. There could be somebody in the tree around the corner. You
And
I would jerk off. I would be so happy. I'd
You'll
fucking
never know.
smack
But
my stick
I'm not saying
on
that
Black
anybody
Lives
should do
Matters
that.
on fucking Wall Street.
I'm not saying that anybody should ever fucking do that. But
I
you know,
got you.
There's a sick
I
bag
hope someone does it.
that's fucking watching. You don't know what they're thinking.
But Jeff, think about this. I agree wholeheartedly. But Biden's first response the other day, he was asked a question: if they told you in January that you should shut down the country, would you do it? And he said, "Oh, absolutely. I shut the whole country down again." To me, this is not about the coronavirus. This is about control. This is about them.
Yep.
You want to go out to dinner? We might let you go out, but we're not so sure yet. Well, maybe you could go bowling this week, but next week you could go have a slice of pizza. This is all about control.
Look what they give us. Bowling, for instance.
Yeah.
This is what the fuck I want to do. Go bowling. I want to wear your fucking shoes after you bowled them for an hour. Let me take those shoes from you and then go touch the ball that you've been coughing, licking, whatever you
Right, and you might. There's no corona to that, and there's
Are
no
you kidding
corona when you're protesting. There's no corona there. Oh, if you're gonna have a funeral for a family member, no, can't fucking do that.
Last Friday night, I took my wife out to Burrito Bar. We wanted to go out to eat, so we went to a couple places, all packed. We go to the fucking burrito bar, right? So I park the car, walk around to where she is. She's standing there with her mask on outside, and all of a sudden I hear this guy, "Excuse me, sir, you got to put your mask on." So I put my mask on. I'm going to go sit. I'm going to move over to the left 3 feet and sit on the table and eat
with no mask.
With no mask, but I'm standing over here and they need a mask. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I told my wife, I said, you know what? Pack it up. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fucking sit. I'm already outside.
Yeah.
These people are eating. I got to wear a mask over here. Arm's length away. I got to wear a mask over here. No, it's all cool.
You know, somebody, Catherine Monda just said, you know, if Biden gets in, it's Camilla who'll be pulling the strings. And I see that's the thing. At least, no, but here's the thing. At least I would know. I don't believe that. I don't know who's pulling the strings. So that's that's another problem.
Well, that's who you got to believe.
B.O.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe you're right. But I want to know who's pulling the strings, Jeff. So if you told me Biden's going to get in, but Kamala Harris is running the country, at least I would know what I'm getting. The problem is I don't know. It's Bernie, AOC, Pelosi. Well, who's running again? And Carmine said Obama. He's giving him the eye. I got it. He's the Maloikin. Yeah, Catherine. We all think that. That's why we can't let this happen because, again, smaller version is New York City. This will happen all over our country if Biden gets in. He will just give it away.
I think I need to drop the fucking hammer on 2 people in particular.
Go ahead.
Cocksucker Cuomo and triple cocksucker fucking Big Bird. Here's for fucking Big Bird. Here's stage 3 stomach cancer, you fucking cocksucker. And I just did the hair stood on the back of my neck. And the worst fucking blowjob that I've ever seen in my life, your father, who was a big cocksucker, is 10 times the governor you are. You fucking Cavallero. Blow that. As I dropped the hammer, and the judge can't change his Pukyaka pad without getting hurt.
Yeah, I was hoping we were going to get past the judge.
No, fuck you. Judge.
You're right. I got. Listen.
What's going on there?
I agree with you, Carmine. I'm so down. Like if it wasn't for what was going on and my lack of passion for sports tonight, I would be ripping the judge right now because you know what? I'm so tired of
it's tough. They're fucking
constantly. It's just
I asked you that a couple weeks
ago. You did, Jeff. You a month and a half ago you were on it.
Is this kid worn himself out? What the fuck?
I did, but that was my question, right? Then do you give this guy a big fucking contract?
No,
how do you?
I can't. Until you show me you can play.
He's a great player. I'm not taking the guy. It's fucking MVP material, but he can't stay on the fucking field.
What's exactly is wrong with him now?
Calf.
A calf. It's actually a torn vulva muscle. This is not funny. The smell coming from his box is so bad. It's like smelling salt. People walk by him and they go down. And it's like fucking rain.
On Rockin' Sports, Tom, Jeff, and the doctor himself, Carmine Glorioso, with it so eloquently putting his
and
touch.
The sponsors, this is exactly what the sponsors called me and said, please, talk about this, and motherfuck everybody you can.
I'm trying. With Jeff, we're never going to get a paid sponsor on this show ever.
Well, is it true that Massengill is going to sponsor Judge for next year?
Listen, he's embarrassed about it. But you remember the thing with fucking Viagra with Palmero?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He probably had a limp. He was doing so much steroids. He's like, hey, my dick don't work. I'll do the Viagra thing. And he did it like he was getting free fucking doses. That's how he fucking did it.
Come on, before we let you go, I got to ask you, we've all been bashing, and I'm down on the Yankees right now, and the whole bet, for a lot of reasons. Your Mets tonight, they did the whole flag at home plate. Will you watch?
I snapped.
I
was in the car. I had to hear it. I'm going, and that fucking blowjob announcer from the Mets, Howie fucking, what's his name? Howie what? Howie Rhodes.
Yeah.
That fucking Matza Chris. That was the most wonderful thing. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? They just trip over their dicks. I was listening to Moose and Maggie. I punched the fucking radio off. Well, if you offend one person, I'm like, I can't fucking take take this, you motherfucker. That's how I'm not gonna have a radio because they keep smashing the fucking thing.
Jeff, has Carmine helped you clear up your vote? I mean, have you? I know you haven't switched. Oh, and by the way, everybody, on the election eve, I'm going to be doing the show live. Jeff's anniversary, so we're not sure about his involvement, but we're going to do a politics show that night, and we're going to cover the election on the show. So it's November 3rd.
Wake up, America! You think you've seen this? You're gonna get that if you don't make that fucking vote. Vote for the other fucking guy. Yeah, go vote for Barack Obama. Don't forget 9/11, you cocks.
Carmine, we love you. So
Jeff,
eloquent.
Tommy, Stedabona, good luck with your someone wanting to pay for this after hearing this shit.
Thanks.
Love you, boys. Be good.
See you, Carmine. That's the doctor. Great half hour with the doctor, Jeff. You can't do better than that, man. I got to tell you.
Oh, my God.
He
Did he clear anything up? No. But it was great to listen, man.
Absolutely, yeah. And listen, it's all over the board. We're going to pick up Raphael. He's on. But I have to tell you, I mean, it's all over the board tonight. People are fed up with sports. We want to have that time. You know, Jeff, the fight we should be having tonight is Jets-Giants, Yankees-Red Sox.
Oh, well,
that's what we should be arguing about here, not this bullshit that we have to listen to.
I do have some good news, for me, at least.
All right, go ahead.
If I may. Can I?
Please, go ahead.
So I'm eating dinner early. I got Chinese food, even though their little fucking slopes fucked up my dinner.
You have to say slow. That you have
I
to.
really don't give a fuck, man.
Oh my God.
You know, the Chinese food customers' lives matter, and their dinner matters more too. And when you get my fucking soda, you feel it. Okay, next time that delivery driver ain't getting fucking shit. But anyway, I'm reading through ESPN through some of the articles, and here he was, Saquon Barkley. There he is.
I saw it.
Oh God, it smoothed so many things over. It really
felt better.
Fucking felt great. It felt great to read that. Oh, I don't know if we're gonna play all our games. And I was like, you know what? This is perfect. This is happening just perfect. I could give up everything that's happening so far just for that.
All right, let's get over to our next guest and get off this topic.
He pairs up with Danny Jones when he does it. That's all.
Yes, he's officially the third co-host of the Hard Rock and Sports Show. He's back for his bi-weekly segment, and he's the head odds maker over at mybookie.ag, and he's back for another show. And, of course, that's our good friend Rafael Esparza. Rafael.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Rafael, before we get into the fun part, what's the influence of what's going on right now in your world with all these protests, and it's got to be hurting your business.
It is, but I mean, we took a lot of money in Russian table tennis today. We took a lot of money in simulation betting today. So for us, it's next sport up. I mean, just like in sports, next player up. If someone gets hurt, for us, it's just next sport up. I mean, we learned a lot from this pandemic where people still want to bet. So if you don't have other venues to bring in the people to make bets, I mean, horse racing ran today. They didn't boycott. Russian table tennis, KBO baseball, some baseball games. So in my world, it's just next man up. What are you going to promote that day or give people a little bit more better discounts on stuff? So for us, it was a little slower day, but we still have people jonesing for some action.
Yeah, and you know what, Rafael, before we get into it again, also, as the third co-host on the show, I got to ask, we know nothing about Rafael. We don't know, where does Rafael live? Is he married? What makes Rafael tick? We got to ask a couple. We got to know these things. I
think that kind of makes it the allure of Rafael. I mean, Rafael, just the name alone is mysterious.
Is he one name now, like Cher and Madonna and all that?
No, I wish I was one word. I mean, people think I'm named after a turtle, but I was born before the turtles came out. And the sad part is, you know what my middle name is? Michelangelo. So not only am I named after one turtle, but I'm named after two turtles, but I'm actually a twin. And we were such premature that the doctor told my mom that the first baby would live, the second one won't. And I was the second one, so they named me after two archangels. So that's why I was named after two archangels, not because of turtles or anything else, because my brother's name is Steve, so you can tell that it was not like biblical that my mom wanted to throw out some names.
Well, here's a question then, Jeff. Jeff, I have to ask you this question: if Raphael's got a twin, how do we know this is Raphael and not Steve?
Maybe Steve parts his hair on the other side. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have a mustache, doesn't wear glasses. That maybe got LASIK surgery. We don't know. That's why I kind of like the allure of not knowing anything about this man.
He wears contacts 24 hours a day and works. He's a big wig for Home Depot and loses a lot of money gambling because he'll bet anything and everything on TV.
Let's get into it. Since we're talking about politics, let's start with politics. So with the conventions basically coming to an end, I know there's been a little bit of bump for Trump after the DNC. Was there a little bit of effect on the line in Vegas based on that? I did notice the line was a little different.
Yeah, I mean, the money came in, and if I had to grade it, which I have watched both boring and untruthful events of both of them, DNC and RNC, but if I had to grade it, I say the RNC won. I mean, I thought they outperformed. Just the environment itself was much better than the DNC. So I think that's why the money came in. I think Trump's side, he was around, I think it was plus something. I think plus 120 and all that. And we actually flipped it to him to be a small favorite, minus 120. So it's going to be interesting. The debates, I mean, yeah, I'm declaring it right now. RNC won the conventions. I'll say that. The Republicans, in my view, won that. But you don't win elections on conventions.
Nope.
You don't win elections on debates. You win election on who's going to go out there and vote. That's all you. It's how you win. So right now, 1-0. RNC beat the DNC. Now let's wait for the debates to happen.
Yeah, and well, I'm still up in the air whether the debates are actually going to happen. Now you have some of the bigger names on the Democrat side telling Biden not to do them. So I still have my doubts that they're actually going to happen at all at this point, unless the race tightens up a little bit more, which it's starting to. Then I think he's got no choice.
I'm actually kind of afraid for Biden to do the debates just because, I mean, sometimes he looks lost. Sometimes he gets flustered. I don't know if it's age or he's not comfortable reading a prompter or he loses track. I mean, but Trump is horrible at reading the traps and speeches as well. So it's not like you have two brilliant guys going to be on stage outdueling each other. But I would not be shocked if the only debate we see is the VP debate.
It's possible. And, I think the problem for Biden is he's better if he's reading off of something, but I think anytime he's left to his own thoughts, that's where he gets into a problem. And especially if he gets asked a question that is kind of not flattering, then he starts to get angry, and you could see that it flusters him, and he goes everywhere. But
he gets flustered easily, and then Trump is the other way around. He's really good, but he'll throw out statistics that are 100% not true. So you have two people going back and forth that probably can hurt themselves during debates.
Yeah, I think Trump helped himself in the last one better than I think he just when he's allowed to riff, he's better than when he reads. It just sounds a little stale sometimes when he's reading, but he's safer when he's reading off the teleprompter because he's not putting his own take into it. But we won't get too far into politics, but it's going to be an interesting time. I guess it officially kicks off after tonight. But I do want to ask you about something I saw on the website, the Super Contest.
Yes.
Tell everybody a little bit because that's something I'm definitely interested in. I think Jeff might even be interested in something like this.
Yeah, it's our annual football contest. It's the second one that we're doing. We did one last year. I think it's $100,000, if I'm not mistaken, or $300,000. I guarantee it's $100 entry free. NFL only. First place wins $100. Top score every 4 weeks wins, I think, $12,500. So it's if you're familiar with Vegas and Westgate Super Contest, it's almost similar to theirs. You just pick an NFL sides. So it's very interesting. A lot of people like it. And, I mean, for college football, still huge question marks. NFL, they're going to kick. I think they're going to finish the season. They're going to finish the season on time. That's the big question mark. But they're going to kick it. They're going to go full-blown. to see what's going to happen. And I think we see a Super Bowl winner on time. I still think it'd be maybe 2-3 weeks off difference, but I think we'll see a Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, I think, Jeff. I think what you could see in this season for the NFL is you may get a week or so here and there where they may shut it down to let something pass. I don't necessarily believe that they're going to play a straight full all the way through season, Jeff.
Well, right now, a lot of hope for the NFL with those false positives. So I think it kind of made people believe that, okay, maybe the virus is dwindling a little bit and the NFL is going to be able to do their season. But if the NFL had to miss a game here or there, I think that they would be able to absorb that more so than the other sports. Baseball's a lot of games. Hockey and basketball came back for the playoffs. Football is the only sport that's going to be able to play a whole season. And then now this year they're doing the 17 games, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So if they lose a game, they're still doing 16, which is everybody is used to.
Right, but I think the problem is if you get 4 teams one week that can't play and those games have to be made up, I think that's where you start to push the season out. You may make it stuff up at the end of the year if they're needed. I agree with Raphael. I think they finish it. I just think it's a little later than normal.
You got to see what happens if those games are needed and everything. I mean, maybe they are, maybe they're not. Maybe they're needed at the time, but maybe they're going to have to be settled at the end of the year. You'll have to see what happens. But I think they're going to finish their season.
I heard from multiple sources. I have never got a second confirmation, but they reserved the Super Bowl all the way up to February 28th. So all those Sundays for February are reserved for Super Bowl just in case they have take a week off or have to make up and push everything back. So we can even see maybe how cool would it be the Super Bowl Sunday be on Valentine's Day, because Valentine's Day falls on February 14th. Be a lot of pissed off ladies out there.
I got to be honest with you. If you're going to push it, I would love to see it on President's Weekend because then everybody's off that Monday.
But that's Valentine's Day. President's Weekend's the 15th.
So to me, I would love to see it that weekend because, every Super Bowl I've ever watched, I had to go to work the next day. So to me, I would love the fact that it was on that Sunday and then I can stay home on Monday and have the day off. I think that would be great.
Well, you're the majority that goes to work the Monday after Super Bowl.
Yes, I am. Except for the 2 Super Bowls I've went to in my life. I've gone to work after every Super Bowl, except for, 86 Giants. I went to the stadium that next day. So that's a whole different topic. But let's get to some other stuff here. I want to talk about let's stay with the NFL. I want to talk about that. No preseason. The future bets are probably not flowing in right now for the NFL. Do you think the first couple weeks of the season it'll be a little slow, and then once people get a grip on who's doing what, how the team is looking, then you'll see the money flow on futures?
Actually, futures have been picking up. I would think week after week, especially now that most of the NFL teams are practicing with pads. Most of the NFL teams are practicing now in their own stadiums, not in their facilities. So I'm hearing the Saints, Green Bay, they're practicing twice at their facility and then 3 times at their stadium. So ever since that's been going on, especially when practices went to pads, futures started picking up because I think people are really starting to realize now that, I don't want to say baseball, pardon my French, has their shit together, but there hasn't really been that big outbreak like Miami, St. Louis, and stuff like that. Baseball has been kind of rolling along, and I think a lot of NFL bettors or football bettors in general are seeing it. I think that's why futures have picked up, especially total season wins, divisions, and AFC and NFC championship have been picking up.
Yeah, now you bring up baseball. I want to switch over a little bit here. That's a good segue for us. While the season, they've done a better job than I expected, the season's been a little disjointed. The Yankees missed 3. The Mets had a couple of players get sick, so the Yankees were off for 4 days. It's kind of a disjointed season. Almost, it almost feels like it's spring training. I think baseball won't really kick into high gear till the playoffs because I think right now it's so disjointed that there's not really a flow to the season.
Oh, I agree. That's why I think some team is going to be on the outside watching the playoffs, that if this was a normal season, they would be in the playoffs. So I totally agree with you. And let's face it, we'll throw your team underneath the bus. The New York Yankees could be that one team that could be on the outside looking in because you have Tampa Bay that's just been rolling. I told you guys, someone in the Central is going to win a division. It could be easily the Twins, Indians, or White Sox to win the World Series. Those three teams have been outstanding. So I totally agree with you. There's some days I feel like I'm watching spring training baseball.
Yeah.
But you know what? I hear this all the time, especially, no offense to you Yankee fans. Oh, we got all these injuries. It wouldn't happen like this if this was a normal season. Well, no one's playing a normal season right now. I don't want to hear you complain.
I agree.
It's the season, so everyone's playing this, and
listen, the Yankees. If this was out of the ordinary for the Yankees, I would argue that point. But the last few years, they've had more injuries. So this is just typical Yankees, whether it's a short season or regular season. I mean, last year everybody was out. They had more guys on the DL than anybody. So no, I'm not arguing. I agree with you. Sucks to be the Yankees right now.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to be having that Stanton contract. I mean, right now, Derek Jeter looks like the freaking brilliant for getting rid of that contract.
You know what, Raphael? I never understood that trade. I love Brian Cashman. I just never understood. They were trying, and they were on their way to making this a younger, more athletic team, not burdened by these huge contracts. And then you go and trade for Stanton. I know he's coming off an MVP season. He had a good first year. But just the thought 10 years from that, I mean, that trade never made any sense to me from a Yankee standpoint.
Well, it makes sense to me when Derek Jeter goes into Cashman's office and shows him Polaroids at one of maybe Derek Jeter's good parties and say, "Here, take Stanton off my hands, or I'm going to publish these pictures."
That's the only thing that makes any sense to me because that trade. Now, I'll say on Derek Jeter's part, I never understood the Yelich trade.
No, that one. It's funny. I always tell people that he looks brilliant getting rid of Stanton, but boy, does he look like he got kicked in the nuts for getting rid of Yelich.
Yeah, I didn't understand at that point. I mean, he was
that's karma right there. That's karma.
That's a young, up and coming player that you build around. Getting Stanton gone, I understood. That's a ton of money for a guy who's getting older, who's probably going to break down at some point. And sure enough, there it is. But that's one I never understood. Staying with baseball, I want to talk about the struggles of the Astros, and specifically Altuve. I mean, so if there's ever a calmer season, are the Astros in the middle of it?
Yes, I'm huge into. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the biggest superstition guy, but I'm big into karma. When I worked in Vegas sports books and all that, I tipped everybody just because I always wanted that good karma. Yeah. I still tip everyone today, even though I don't work in the casinos, and I think that's karma biting Houston in the ass right now. The Oakland A's have been lights out. Playing some good baseball, but the Houston Astros, their hitting's been awful. Their relief pitching, and then they lost Verlander. I'll give them credit. They lost some big key pitchers before the season started, and then they lost Justin Verlander. But poor Verlander, he gets to stay at home with his hot wife and not play baseball. I don't feel too hot for him.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing, though. But now I'll use Altuve as the poster boy. Here's a guy who's winning MVPs, probably when he shouldn't, but playing at an unbelievable level for these years, all of this comes out, and now the guy's batting 206. And I'm not, am I buying it that it's a special season, or am I buying, okay, maybe he had more help than people want to believe?
Yeah, even everyone's. Josh Reddick, he's batting what, in the 260s, 270s. Yeah. He only has like 11 RBIs. It's not just Altuve, but I blame their pitching. They're just getting roughed up. On pitching.
They lost their closer. They're a mess. And listen, frankly, I don't think anybody's catching the A's. I mean, I'm not buying the A's yet, but I think that's a team to be worried about.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I don't think no one's going to catch the A's.
Yeah, I have to be honest with you. And real quick to finish up that baseball, I think the American League, you can nail down 6. And I want to say 7 with the Yankees, but you can certainly nail 6 of those spots for the playoffs right now. I think on the other side, it's a lot different. Even, with the Cubs being, 18-10, and the Braves, the Braves are 16 and something at this point, maybe
18-12.
Yeah, and I think they got maybe 1 or 2 wins by a starting pitcher, and I think it's Freese, the only guy. So I think the National League's a little bit wide open at this point for who's going to actually be those 8. But the American League, I think, is kind of boring at this point.
I would agree with you on the American League, but I'm throwing out your Yankees. I'm sorry. I just don't think they.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, I like I told you, the 3 AL Central teams are going to be tough outs, and throw in Tampa Bay and Oakland. Those are my 5 teams I have in American League. And you're right. Right now, it looks like just Dodgers and Dodgers only. Maybe I love watching the San Diego Padres, even though the Padres are probably my biggest thorn in my side because I still hate Steve Garvey for hitting that home run in '84 to cost my Cubs a World Series.
Holy cow, you gotta let it go.
I can't. But they're fun to watch. I like watching the San Diego Padres, but wow, the Dodgers 80 plus 84 differential. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, listen, here's the problem. I'm buying into the Dodgers is because every year they're that juggernaut, and then they get to the playoffs and they shit the bed. So, but yeah, I think at this point it's easily said that that's the best team in baseball. And I would have a hard time. But, again, I think those American League Central teams and the A's have to be watched.
I agree. Yeah, if I was anybody, I don't want to play the White Sox because they have guys that can hit home runs top to bottom.
Yeah, listen, the White Sox, the Padres, they're fun teams to watch right now. So if you want to watch baseball right now, those are teams I tell you, turn them on. They have a lot of enthusiasm. They hit a lot of home runs, and they're a lot of fun to watch.
I agree.
Let's go through the NHL a little bit. I mean – a lot of 1-1 series. One surprise, the Lightning 2-1 over the Bruins. What's your thoughts on the NHL playoffs as they stand right now, even though they're in a little bit of a recess?
Yeah, a little sad that I don't get to watch the Golden Knights play today. It is what it is, even though stuff is crazy in the world, but it's just 2020. I mean, does this happen in 2019? Probably not. Does this happen in 2021? Probably not, but this is 2020. Everything and anything is happening. There's a post, if you look on the news, there's an asteroid that could actually nip Earth coming towards us. It's like 1 in 1 billionth. I was doing some statistics on it. And you know what it's supposed to hit if it does? The day after the election. So that's what 2020 is all about. It's just the crazy stuff, but I don't think anyone can beat the Golden Knights if they play like they did in Game 1. And they did, and like they did last series. They're just too fast. They're too physical. I was really high on Colorado, and boy, did they! Part of my friends shit the bed. Yeah. Their last, and now their goalies are stagnant. They can't stop anything. So I would not be shocked if it's the Golden Knights in Tampa.
Well, yeah, no, I agree with you there. Let's go to the NBA a little bit. I want to touch base on a couple things before we lose you. Any surprises there? I'm a little surprised the Lakers up 3-1. I thought the Blazers would be more of a challenge, but I know what's his name's hurt. Lillard's hurt. But other than that, I don't see anything earth shattering on the other side of the page there.
Well, Lillard left. He left the bubble. I think the biggest problem was Portland was when they lost Collins because that shortened up their bench, and their bench play went 0 after they lost Collins. So, and then the Lakers just realized, hey, if we play defense, we can beat this team easily, and that's what the Lakers did. They just played better defense. I mean, they just wouldn't let Lillard shoot from the half-court line. They picked him up early, and they got the ball out of his hand early. So it was defense. That doesn't shock me. A little shocked on how well the Dallas Mavericks are playing. I didn't think they're going to be top Western Conference team or contending team, maybe for a couple more years, maybe after Luka gets more experience. But, boy, has he been shining, Luka?
Oh, my God. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I think I just find the NBA playoffs. I'm not, for me at least, and again, I'm not watching every game. I'm barely skimming through it sometimes. But there doesn't seem to be a storyline yet in the NBA. Do you find that there's a storyline building in the NBA playoffs?
I think the storyline is probably going to be LeBron. But I think if the Clippers win out, I think the storyline is just going to be the Battle of LA. Who's going to win the championship? Because I'm not sold on Milwaukee. If Milwaukee has to play a half-court offense, they're probably not going to win the championship. And now the storyline is going to be, where's the Greek Freak going to go? Is he going to go in your backyard in New York and play for the Knicks?
Everybody hates. It seems like everybody in the NBA hates the Knicks. I mean, you had players coming out and celebrating that the Knicks wound up with the 8th pick in the draft. I mean, it's just amazing.
So I think it's going to be the Battle of LA's. I would love to see Kawhi Leonard beat LeBron again and go to the NBA Finals. That'd be hilarious.
I agree with you. I still think Milwaukee's is still the team for me if I'm going to pick somebody. But at this point, I'm not surprised by anything. I want to turn to a little bit of golf. Talk to me a little bit about the BMW Championship, and there's some guys out there. Where's the money going on in the BMW Championship? Is it Colin? Was it Morocco?
The money came in, of course, on Dustin Johnson. John Rahm got tons of money. Everyone faded Jason Day in head-to-head matchups. But if you look at the scores, all you had to do is maybe do par today, and you'll be in the top 10. There's a lot of big players with plus money out there. So the course was just brutal today. So you're going to see a lot of big names sitting on my couch this weekend watching golf and not playing golf because there's a lot of big names that could actually probably miss the cut. Matuzama, I think, is only winning by shooting -3 today. So, and he got a lot of action on him. So did Duncan. He got some action. But as long as Dustin Johnson doesn't win, we'll be all right.
That's where the money is, I guess. Guys, we're talking with our good friend and the third wheel on this show, the third co-host, Mr. Rafael Esparza, the head odds maker at mybookie.ag. Make sure you go to their website, log in, sign up, make some bets. Football's kicking off. Hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll have some fun with the football season. I'm praying that we get it back to some normalcy. I gotta tell you, Rafael, I know Jeff feels kind of the same way, and Basil does too. That's Basil hanging out there with Jeff. But I'm looking forward to a time at some point where we can have the biggest fights. Being, I'm a Yankee fan, you're a Met fan, I'm a Packer fan, and you're a Bear fan. I'm just looking forward back to some normalcy.
I am well with you on that one, but I don't see it coming anytime soon.
No, unfortunately, I kind of agree with you. I think it's definitely next year. I think things calm down after the election. I think a lot of this is being stirred up for the election on both sides. I don't think it's.
I think the election, and I had a really good conversation today with a good friend of mine, and a lot of people are on nerve and very testy. It's because we're stuck at home. I mean, put yourself in these athletes, and it's funny how the NBA said it, but I was listening to a lot of Vegas Golden Knights in their bubble in the NHL, where they said, okay, if they have a bad game, they would come home and play with the kids or go out to dinner with their wife and unwind. Where these athletes, they either have a bad game or something happened social media-wise or something happened at home, and they're in their hotel rooms by themselves. So, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it I think a lot of negativity is just we're stuck either in our house or apartments or hotels, and we can't express ourselves or hang out with friends and family to go to a bar and watch a game and say, hey, I hate the Yankees, and you say, oh, the Yankees are the greatest, and we chug beers and stuff like that. We can't do that. So I think that's why everyone is such unnerved.
Yeah, and I'm just, like I said, I'm just looking forward to getting back to some normalcy and just talking sports and getting out. You know, I love politics now, and I love having debates and conversations, and I do. I think it's fun, but I like a few hours a week where I could just forget it and just worry about my team or rooting against Jeff's teams or however I want to do it.
Well, you're talking to the guy that gets to see all the voter outcomes and the tallies and stuff like that, because we have bets where you can bet on electoral states, like who's going to win Alaska, Republican or Democrat. We'll have over, I think last election we had over 275 different ways to bet the election on Tuesday from each state, and you figure there's going to be a lot of states trying to get legalized marijuana this year. I think there's 14 states. I got to do my research on that. That's on the ballot at the same time as the election. So we'll have odds on that as well. So election Tuesday is very stressful for me because we have so much action on the board and money. Election Tuesday is like March Madness, the first Thursday when you have all those games going on and it's just money's coming in left and right.
Well, we're looking forward to that. And you guys, don't forget, election night will be on the air during the political show. We're going to follow the election that night. I think it's big enough. We'll turn it on. And starting this year, Sunday mornings, I will be on the air, hopefully with Jeff. And I know he works on Sundays, but we're going to do a little game preview every Sunday morning, 8, 9 o'clock in New York hour. I haven't nailed down the time. So make sure you stay with that. And Rafael will be back in 2 weeks. It'll be hopefully opening day of the season. I believe that's the next our next show will be around without Raphael will be the 10th. So we'll
the 10th. But don't forget, there's college football this Saturday. You guys want to know Austin P Central Arkansas football betting preview on the show? I mean, come on, FCS kicks off on Saturday.
I would much rather talk college football than pro football. I am a huge college football fan. I root for about 5 different teams. I'm a huge Nebraska Cornhusker fan. I all of those kind of teams. I'd rather watch it. I'm afraid.
Well, Central Arkansas, if you're looking to bet them, I like them. The number opened up 5 and down to 4.5. They have not 1 but 2 running backs that can probably light up the scoreboard. So if the number keeps on dropping, that's my free play for you guys. Bet Central Arkansas if you can get it -4. Totals moved, opened up at 42.5. Now it's 46.5. So they're expecting some big scoring.
Wow.
What happened now with the storm? Is that going to affect the game?
You know what? We looked at it today, and I know they just got winds up in Central Arkansas. I think the stadium was all right. I don't think the players were. I think they evacuated pretty much all the players, what we heard today. And I think Austin P said that they weren't traveling there till that day up because that game doesn't start till 9 p.m. So they're actually not going to travel there until that morning of.
Yeah, listen, I hope college football kicks off. I know right now Big Ten, there's lawsuits, and who knows what's going to happen with college football. But to be honest with you, I would rather turn on Saturday football any day of the year than Sundays. I love football on Sundays, don't get me wrong, but I can watch college football from 11 o'clock in the morning until well after midnight when the Pac-10 shuts off. So,
well, you know the Big Ten and Big Ten, Mountain West, and Pac-12, they're probably rooting for COVID because if the SEC and ACC have a full season, boy, that's going to damage them.
Oh, absolutely. And now you got players are sending out lawsuits. And listen, I don't know why they can't play. I haven't figured it out, but there's nothing we can do. But yeah, don't worry. I promise you, if there's college football, if there's one game, I'll be watching it, and we'll be talking about it here on the show. Start next week. So we're looking forward to you coming back in 2 weeks. Everybody make sure they check out Raphael at mybookie.ag and sign up and get out there and put your money down, guys. Let's spread the wealth.
Take it easy. Thanks for having me on. You guys all stay safe.
You too, Raphael. We'll see you in 2 weeks. That's Raphael Esparza.
That's what he
That's
said.
right.
But we don't know after all of that. Twins.
Listen,
different names.
Listen. All I can tell you is I like having the guy on. He's welcome anytime. And his people actually reached out after his last, and they wanted to know if we would be interested in having him on every week. And said, listen, we'll talk about a show. Why not? And then they came back and said, we'll leave it for 2 weeks for right now. So, okay, no problem. But, Jeff, we have 2 weeks. We get the NFL, and then you and I get to start doing our picks every week. We talked about having our little contest.
Yes.
To that. So, but let's get into a little bit of let's try to do a little sports tonight, Jeff. I know that I kind of brought the show down a little bit, in the beginning.
Oh, no, it's not that time. It's just what you're saying that you want sports to get away from it all, and then you're bringing it right in the house.
But I got no choice, Jeff. There's nothing to talk about.
You do have the choice. The name of the show. What is the name of the show? It says right there in the upper right-hand corner. I'm reading it. I got my glasses on. Hard Rock and Sports. I don't see nothing about no fucking politics anywhere within that.
No, you're 100% right. So, but we had some fun with politics tonight. The doctor put me in a good mood. Thank God.
I will now have to boycott all politics on this show.
Okay, that's fair enough.
During any political segments.
You'll be kneeling during political segments?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right, listen, I got you. We won't be doing too much of it, but when it creeps into sports, I got to bring it up. That's just the way it goes.
Give it 3 seconds, and that's it. You move on.
Let's get off the 3. You know what? One thing I wanted to bring up last week to you, which we kind of ran out of time on, was unwritten rules in baseball.
Yes.
Okay, so there was a little bit of a controversy about maybe I figure about a week and a half ago. I know you're not a big baseball fan, so you probably don't know who Fernando Tatis Jr. is.
I would imagine that is Mr. and Mrs. Tatis' son.
That's true. He's also the shortstop for the San Diego Padres and quite the baseball player. Well, about a week and a half ago, the Padres were winning a game. They've been on a streak, Jeff, where they hit, I think, a grand slam home run in like 4 or 5 straight games.
Wow.
They've just been on fire hitting home runs. Anyway, so it's a 7th or 8th inning of a game. Now, You know I'm a big unwritten rule guy. You know how I am with baseball. I'm a purist.
Yes,
I
but
think
in baseball, there should be its share of unwritten rules. Without
correct.
that.
I agree. So, but this is one that I'm torn with, and here's what I'll tell you. So they're up 7 or 8 runs very late in the game. Let's say it's the 7th inning. Padres are winning. They're up 3-0 count, bases loaded. Okay. Now, unwritten rule in baseball, you're up a lot of runs late in the game. You don't swing 3-0. Well, Tatis swings, hits a grand slam home run. The pitcher's glaring at him. Announcers are talking crap.
Everybody hated this guy.
People's killing the kid. Now, supposedly he was even given the take sign. Says he didn't see it, and swung and hit a grand slam. So there was some stuff going on Facebook about it. And I jumped in at one point and I said, nobody's more into the unwritten rules of baseball than I am. I think that there's way you don't steal bases up late in the game. There's things you just don't do.
Show a little respect towards the other.
There it is, Jeff, right there. You said it. You got to show respect to the game and to your opponent. But I said the one thing that scares me in that spot is the way they score runs nowadays and the amount of home runs that are hitting in baseball. Is there ever a lead that's safe? Like if you're in the 7th inning and you're winning by 6 runs, is that enough to not swing at an advantage and hit a home run? Like at what point has the unwritten rules been changed by the way the game is played today?
I don't think so. I don't think so because nowadays, if anything, they have more numbers and more stats to back up all of that stuff. So they should know when it's safe and when it's not safe. Now, although I do agree with what you're saying, because any team is capable of scoring so however many runs it could in an inning at any given time if they start to get hot. We all know that, okay?
Right.
But, let's say it's a 3-game series. Say the Yankees and the Red Sox play a 3-game series.
Right.
At the first game, the Yankees win 8-1. Second game, they win 10-3. Third game, they're up 12-2 in the 4th inning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now there's a little bit of a rivalry between these teams. They might not adhere to the unwritten rule only because it's like a way to zing them. You know what I mean? But if you also know that, all right, this is the 3rd game in a row that we played. They lost 4 in a row coming into this series. We took 2 out of 3. We've been outscoring them at will. We don't have to worry about, swinging at everything past the 3rd, 4th inning because of the lead we have.
Right.
We're pretty confident. Our pitching is holding up, and that I could see. But, in other situations, maybe you ran into a team, the Cleveland Indians are playing the Minnesota Twins, and the Twins took the first 2 games. But Cleveland won 8 of their last 9 games coming into this, so they're still somewhat of a hot team. And, their bats are showing some life. Got runners on base from hits, not walks. And, maybe you want to just keep the boot on the throat, so to speak. And, you're not going to back off because this is a team that's dangerous. It's in your division. There are a lot of variables, I think, that some people would look at before they just say, you know what, we're just going to follow the unwritten law.
Right. But that's the point. So the other team... Does the other team? Okay, so let's say you're 100% right. You're weighing it out based on the game, previous games. You're factoring everything in whether you're going to follow the unwritten rule. Does the other team have to respect that, or now do you open yourself up to a fastball in the ear?
What are you talking about?
Well, let's say in that situation you determine that you need to. That? Yeah, let's say you've determined your team is just you're the manager. You've determined that in that situation you want your hitter to hit because you don't think 6 runs is enough. Your pitchers aren't throwing the ball well. You're down to 2 relievers. You want to add some more runs. So you're not thinking home run, but you're going to let them swing the bat and hopefully get a single or double and drive in 2 or 3 more runs. But the other team, they don't find it so well, and now they want to put one in your ear.
Well, listen, that
blame the other team.
That could happen no matter what. You don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I understand what you're asking me, but in any given situation, that could happen at any given time. You don't know. But if you feel as though that lead is not safe, you can't go by baseball laws, which are like, we can't do this then, we can't do that now.
Yeah.
You have to continue to go forward and make sure that you secure the win. Certain teams need the win for a lot of different reasons,
Right.
whether it's to get into the wild card chase, get into the division lead.
But is all of that okay to overlook the unwritten rule?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, without a doubt. I would say so. If your team needs it and you need it, yes. If it's a team, like I said, the Yankee Red Sox situation that we came up with, if it was a situation like that where, okay, they lost 5 out of their last 7 games, we took the first 2 from them, and we're beating them handedly, no problems. I could see, all right, let's give it a little bit here before we start swinging at the ball again.
Right.
They're not swinging, they're not hitting anything.
Right.
But
if you break the unwritten rule, you'd have to be okay with getting one in the side of the helmet.
Well, listen, that happens, and
right.
Now maybe your pitcher throws it there.
No, I just say I agree with everything you're saying. I just saying, to me, if I'm going to try not to break the rules, but if I feel like, okay, I kind of need the extra runs here to feel safe, I'm going to tell, okay, you're swinging the bat. Okay, if he gets a hit when you get up, get ready because you're getting one in the rib cage. So, that's
know that already.
Yeah,
to the situation.
Yeah,
although I hear what you're saying, and everything you're saying is true. Nobody likes. There's always that kind of unwritten rule that you don't run up the score on certain teams. They just don't do, not on certain teams, but in professional sports, you don't see football players for the most part. If they're winning 40-3, they'll take their starting quarterback out, and maybe they run
again. Another unwritten rule. There's no rule says you have to take your quarterback out. The kind of unwritten rule is you're up 4 touchdowns with 3 minutes left in the game. You're probably going to take your starting quarterback out of the game.
Yeah, the only one that never did that used to piss me off was Belichick. He would leave Brady in there.
I think that was more Brady. I think that was more Brady than Belichick, but I agree with you. Bill was he plays the game nonstop, 100%. I don't always agree with that, but there's a lot of unwritten rules on that. And when it comes to sports, I think baseball's got more of them. But yeah, I agree. Staying with baseball, you brought up something this week, and I thought it was a freaking great question and a good topic for tonight. I'd like to stay with it if you don't mind. Dwight Gooden's 1985 year was just out of control. I mean, Dwight Gooden was unhittable, on his way to the Hall of Fame. In the conversation, I guess with the storm tonight, the internet's a little slow, so I'm having a little bit of an issue.
If, by the way, you're fine broadcasting, by the way. Just
okay. Yeah, I'm losing. You're kind of freezing, but my computer's kind of freezing up a little bit also. So
you haven't frozen once.
Okay, so I got good stats up now. It's just popping up now. So I want to give you the 85. But Jeff, your point of it was that maybe for some reason him doing drugs all year actually helped him pitch better. Can you want to explain that thought process?
Well, I mean, listen, it's not that he was a terrible pitcher once he cleaned up his act, or so we thought, because I know he had some problems after his career was over. But once he was with the Yankees and he cleared up his name and his act a little bit. He was better, but he wasn't what the pitcher he was. You just got to wonder if maybe him being high gave him that little extra edge that maybe was hiding for a while, and maybe that helped him out a little bit. I don't know. He never seemed to have ever come close to that season again.
Well, I mean, it's quite the season. I'll give you his quick stats: 24-4, 1.53 ERA.
Now hold on, as you're going around, very reminiscent of Ron Guidry at 25-3. And what was his ERA? What were you saying? 1.5 or something?
Games.
Oh, you're starting to freeze up a little bit, by the way.
Yeah, same thing. Jeff?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You're just every so often you freeze. I don't know if it's you, me, but every so often you're freezing up.
I think it's the storm, dude. It's affecting us now. Now that you're saying it. But what was his ERA?
1.53.
1.53. Wasn't Guidry's a little bit lower? Wasn't it like 1.3 something?
I'd have to look that up. I want to say Guidry was under 2, but it wasn't. I don't think it was 1.53. Here's what's impressive: 16 complete games.
Yeah, I know he had some stats, man.
So, and then the next year, Jeff, well, not a bad season,
too, right?
Yeah, and while not a bad season the next year, 17-6, 2.84 ERA, 12 complete games. The Mets win the World Series. It comes out after that season because Gooden doesn't show up at the parade because he's high in a project somewhere. The following year, 15. No, it's the truth. He was high in the projects. Didn't show up for the team parade.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug, so they say.
So now after that season, after 86, the Mets win the World Series. Then he's 15-7, 3.21 ERA. So I don't know, but when I thought about it at first, I said, "No, Jeff's out of his mind. Like, why would you?" And I said, "Well, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, that he was so high that he was actually concentrating, and maybe his arm didn't bother him, and he didn't have any feeling like he was just overthrowing." But it's hard to argue the fact that in 85 and somewhat of 86, he was dominant and he was doing all sorts of blow.
Yeah,
and let's not forget,
you don't know what was going on in his mind and everything else. A young guy in his early 20s, playing Major League Baseball, probably a millionaire by that point in time, and now developing a cocaine habit in the middle of the fucking, playing baseball. But then again, that Mets team at that point in time might be easier to say who wasn't doing fucking cocaine at that point in time. Back then, and just all the pressure that was on this guy after that first season. Because, of course, this is New York. So if you go 24-4 with that kind of ERA, you better fucking do it next year and the year after, and then the next 10 years after that. If not, you're a bust and a piece of shit. You know that.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And again, to Hot Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom hanging in as long as either the weather allows or until 9:30, 10 o'clock comes, whatever comes first. But, I lost my train of thought. I was just going to go into something on Dwight Good. To bring the further your thing, there was the time, I don't know if you heard of Doc Ellis and the fact that Doc Ellis was a pitcher for the Pirates, actually threw a no-hitter high on LSD.
Amazing.
Which I can't even imagine. I know guys, I hung out with guys who were so high on crack they couldn't tie their shoes, let alone pitch a perfect game in a baseball game.
And this guy's throwing a baseball 60 feet, 6 inches, precision-like. And look what he did. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy. Guys, make sure you come back next Thursday. But the following one, if everything allows, we'll be on the air doing our football preview show. We'll be doing all football. We'll be breaking down the divisions. We'll be talking about the teams. I'm going to go to a little bit of football next. But make sure you stick around. We got plenty of stuff coming up. Remember, we'll be doing the Sunday show, do a little football preview. Like I said, only about an hour. But like I said, hopefully Jeff will be able to pop in sometimes. I know he's busy at work, but maybe he'll be able to pop in and do a little Sunday morning with us.
There's nobody there. I may have to leave here and there, pretend I'm working, but I'll be back.
Well, I think it'll be fun Sunday mornings having a little football.
Oh boy.
Talks and we'll talk about the highlights of the game.
Starting to freeze up. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. We're going to move on to football. Jeff, talk to me, but I know that there hasn't been much sports talk, especially football, the last couple of days, but I noticed a growing rift in Jetland with Le'Veon Bell and Adam Gase, and then I noticed today that the Jets made a trade for a running back from the Dolphins. Do you find that to be a sign of things to come?
You know what I find it a sign of? That Adam Gase ain't going to be here in fucking January. That's what I definitely find it a sign as. Adam, you sucked when you were with the Dolphins with those guys. Why do you think bringing them north is going to all of a sudden change things and make you a winner? Makes no sense to me. None whatsoever. That's one.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that he tells everybody that excuse me that Le'Veon Bell's got a tweaked hammy, and then Bell comes out and says basically there's nothing wrong with me. I'm healthy and I want to play. I think that's a bad situation, and I think this trade is a forebearer of a possibility that the Jets are going to try to trade Le'Veon Bell.
Let me ask you
I think
something.
Adam Gase never wanted him, and I think he wants to get rid of him.
Let me ask you something. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a few weeks ago, the Jets were still in talks with Adams, or hoping to be in talks with Adams.
Yeah.
You had Mosley that didn't fucking opt out of the season yet. Now, though, one gets traded, one opts out. Now you got Le'Veon Bell. Okay. He's got such a high salary, he ain't going anyplace. Okay. That it's almost impossible. They have to pay him anyway. So it's what we're going to keep him. Adam Gase never wanted him, like you said. Everybody knows that. Okay. Why are you bringing all of these ex-players of yours to this team? Okay. It's not good. That's one thing. Second of all, Le'Veon Bell, maybe he did hurt his hamstring, but maybe he's saying, you know what? Nothing wrong with this hammy boy, because I don't want to be here no more, because I sat out a season, sucked last year. I'm going to be on a team that sucks this year. I'm going to be 29 by the time I get the fuck out of here. Who's going to take me at that point in time? I only have a short fucking window to do anything.
Yeah.
Give it another couple days, maybe a week or so. And if he wants out, or if there's starting to be talks, people sniffing around, because another thing too, the Jets did, I know it's a 7th rounder, but they traded a conditional draft pick for this guy, for this running back. So now another team that they are in the middle of a fucking rebuild, or once again, still rebuilding. And what do? You trade a player like that. But even though it was a 7th rounder, it's still a 7th rounder. Maybe you could have said a 4th rounder and a 7th rounder for somebody's 3rd rounder. You don't know what it could have parlayed into.
Sure.
So there you go. You got a guy that I'm thinking that maybe no matter what Gase says, he's going to turn around and be like, I'm fine. What are you kidding me? Maybe he tweaked his ass a little bit. Who the fuck knows? But he knows that, you know what, another 2 weeks, I'll be fine. But I feel great, man. I'm good. I don't know why they're doing this to me. And maybe he's going to try to force their hand. Why stay? Why stay there? I wouldn't want to be there. And
I think he was upset the way he was used last year. I don't think he wants to play for Gase, to be honest. I think he's trying his best.
Why would you want to play for somebody that turns around and says publicly they didn't want you?
Correct. But here's the problem for him, though, Jeff. After the way things ended in Pittsburgh, he can't afford – I'm talking about Bell. He can't afford to be the squeaky wheel at this point. He's got to try to either stay there and play and be successful, or find a way off that team without being the squeaky wheel.
You know what? Normally, I would have to say you're right, 100% right. But in this situation – I got to say, I believe you're 100% wrong, because the reason for the squeakiness on the wheel is Adam Gase.
No, I agree with that. But now it's 2 times.
He made himself easy to deal with in any stop that he's been in.
Right.
And not that Bell has either. Because you're 100% right with Bell. Why would you do this to fuck everything up? Makes no sense. Totally agree with you. 100% right.
Right.
But you have to turn around and think, Gase, wherever he's gone, it's never ended well.
No, I agree. Listen, I
hear anybody say who's the only person I ever heard say that Adam Gase was a great coach is Frank Jeffrey.
Yeah. No, listen, I was high on the pick, on the Jets pickup of him. I thought he would come here and do well and do well with Darnold. It hasn't happened so far.
Well, listen,
I agree
in that regard, this is a big year for Darnold. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huge. Yeah.
3rd year. He has somewhat of an offensive line, more so than he's ever had since he's been here yet. They still have a short time left before the season. Maybe a receiver shakes free. Maybe they make a trade for a receiver. We don't know yet. We'll see what happens. And, we got to take it. Things are going to start to unfold very soon. Matter of fact, the name that got me excited, believe it or not, that makes me think like, okay, is it a possibility? Mohamed Sanu. Now, when he was with the Falcons, I remember him being a really good player.
He was.
Yeah. And then he went over to the Patriots and not so much.
Not so much. Yeah.
It was the system. I would love for the Jets to get Mohamed Sanu.
I think the Jets need anybody right now. You're right.
If you were the Giants, you wouldn't mind having Mohamed Sanu either. He was a good player. I thought.
Yeah. See, again, no. Sometimes Jeff, especially in football, I've noticed it that there's very little. It's either you're playing really well, and then all of a sudden, it's like the sniper shot. You're walking along, you're hopping, all of a sudden the sniper gets you, and you're down. And I feel like that's football. And that's, to me, is Mohamed Sanu is. You're right. A couple of years ago, he was a deadly force on that team.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, he went to New England. I thought he was going to be great, and he did absolutely nothing. Now, do I blame him? Do I blame the system? Maybe I blame Brady was not throwing the football well last year.
Oh, I think you could blame a combination of things. I'm not saying that this guy was going to come to New England and light the league on fire.
Right.
That's totally wrong. But I will say that you have to take in mind that, one, Brady was getting older. Okay,
Yep.
We'll know that one way or another. Two, he also came to the fucking team in the middle of the season.
True.
Okay? So he had no continuity. And it's almost like when these trades are made, especially in football,
Yeah.
you have no choice. You got to hit the ground running. You're behind. Baseball, you can make that up, especially you play in the field. You're an outfielder. There's nothing that they're going to do. Either you can catch the ball or you cannot catch the ball.
Yeah.
Aside from a pitcher and a catcher combination, anybody I think could get traded from one baseball team to another, and it's just a matter of, are they going to hit the ball or are they going to field the ball?
Mm.
They're not going to. They're going to need to fit into a system, so to speak. I can see that happening in hockey. I can see that happening in basketball, football. That you need to fit into the system to play. But it is what it is. It's one of those sports. You take a chance.
No, absolutely. You guys, make sure you keep checking us out. Hard Rocket Sports. Go to hardrocketsports.com. You can go to we're still hanging in there on Blog Talk Radio. We don't really feature it, but it's still out there. You can go to Spotify, catch the old shows. I have no guest to report. I mean, right now I've kind of taken a break from booking guests, unless somebody big falls in the lap. And hi, Sandy. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I just wasn't sure everybody was still hearing us. That's why I asked. Jeff, do you know who Mackenzie Alexander is?
No.
Okay, so Mackenzie Alexander is a defensive back, I believe, for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. So Mackenzie Alexander has been arrested for battery, and it's the weirdest story you're ever going to hear.
Saw the article.
You did? Did you read it?
No, not really. I didn't read it.
Okay.
I got sidetracked at the time, but I did see the article on ESPN. So please.
All right. So Mackenzie Alexander finds out that his father's missing. Now, here's the odd part of the story. The father, who is 62 years old, his name is Jean Odney Alexander, even though his name is spelled a little different, was reported missing after he and another man traveled to Okeechobee County on Monday to pick berries in a prairie.
Oh boy, what kind of berries?
I'm hoping that dingle.
Yeah, really.
So him and another man traveled to pick berries in this town, wherever this town is, and for some reason, the other man left Alexander's father in the forest. He just left him there.
Nice.
So he was missing. So Mackenzie Alexander and a friend joined the police in the search for his father, but somehow wind up finding this man who basically left his father in the woods, and they beat him up.
Yeah, I didn't know all the ins and outs of this, but
once I started reading this, I had to finish reading it. So today I'm going through it, and it turns out that the father just shows up at this Parks Department house and says, "I've been lost. Here I am." No explanation of why two grown men were picking berries in the forest, why one man left the other behind, and where this guy's been for 3 days.
Wow.
Jeff, this might be the oddest story of the year.
One, I'm going to go back and read this myself.
You have to read it, yes.
But I got to admit, I would not go into the woods with any other full-grown man, be it friend, family, somebody I just met, to go pick berries. Right off the bat, things don't sound so good, and I'm gonna highly doubt that we're picking berries once we get there.
Again, I'm wondering what kind of berries and what tree these berries are growing
I
from.
can give a fuck less what berries and what tree and everything else. Yeah, sounds fishy. Yeah, you're right. Or it's just a matter of did somebody take out their deep sea pole and try to go a little, maybe, I don't know, fucking spearfish.
I'm still betting on dingleberries were being picked that night, but I just thought it was the funniest. And I don't know why I found it so funny. It just, the part that got me is I'm reading and I'm expecting like, they were making a trip to the blood bank. They make it, and it goes, his father was out with another man picking berries. I went, wait a second.
Funny, I could hear that like, hey, let's go pick berries. Huh? Yeah, okay, yeah, it's a good idea. Let's go pick those berries. Where do you want to go? I know this place about 3 hours from here. You know, nice quiet little patch of fucking woods. We go there. Yeah, he wouldn't put out. Something happened.
Sandy, you're 100% right. I think he wouldn't put out Jeff, so the guy dumped him in the woods.
Yeah.
He said, listen,
Or
I'm gonna
maybe
use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Maybe the other guy his intent was to pick berries, and maybe Mr. Alexander was like, okay, you got to take your clothes off, so that's the only way we get these special berries, you know.
Yeah.
No, you just fucking just blink. You're like, whoa, what is that?
We have to take out your very special berry finding tool.
Yeah, berry divining rod, if you will.
Yes, that is to be out and pointing in the right direction to find the berries.
Oh, why does that look like a diving board right now? And why is that coming near me?
I just, for some reason, thought this was the absolute funniest story I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, God, I don't understand it.
If you're this guy, you got to go, all right, guys, when you put the story up, please don't mention the berries. Please don't mention my father's out picking berries.
Why did the football player knock out this guy? Maybe you should go after your father and knock the fuck out of him and be like, what the fuck you going in the woods? We live right around the corner from fucking ShopRite, asshole. Why are you going in the woods to pick
buy all the berries you want?
The fuck out of here.
I thought it was the best thing I ever saw. I said, you know what? I got to bring this story onto the show tonight because I think it's hysterical.
You're saying there's no sports news? This is fucking great shit right here.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're gonna find the outrageous sports news every week, and that's what we're gonna talk about.
If that had made it onto a live broadcast of ESPN, and could you imagine that? I would have tried to keep that story going for fucking. They would have been like, skip it, go to the next one, and be like, no, I need to know more about that.
Yeah, I did. That's the thing. You know, it's dumb, but I need to know more information. Like, I want to know. Were they absolutely picking berries? Was this the only place? How far did they travel to pick the berries? What was the intent of picking the berries? Were we making a pie?
What flavor were the berries?
Yeah, there was no details. Then the guy shows up to you, beat up the guy who left your father in the woods. You know, no, let's take you back and let's go find my dad. The guy didn't seem to be upset. They left the guy. Or were these friends that they just? There's so much to the story. I want to know.
Yeah, really. It's unfucking believable. There's just too much going on. It's unbelievable.
Oh my God, I thought it was great. That was just one of my favorite stories of the week. So I figured, but now, Jeff, let's swing back over to the Giants a little bit because I know you're going to have fun with this part of the story. I know you're going to have fun, but I would not be doing my my job if I didn't bring it up. And I've been excited about the Giants. I really am. I think there's some stuff happening there. I love the way the Judge is running the team. I think they have some players now. Who knows?
First of all, he's running the team. He's running the team into the ground.
No, stop.
Players. What fucking players? They're getting hurt left and right over there.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. So now, though, you know, one side of the ball, one specific group is taking a beating, and it all started out. I didn't get Trump on TV. It started out with DeAndre Baker getting arrested. Okay, that hurt. But okay, next man up. We got plenty of guys. Then Sam Beal, guy that was a couple years ago was a lottery a supplemental lottery pick. Missed the first year, all hurt. Last year missed half the season, hurt. Then came around and looked pretty good. And then sure enough, he opts out for COVID. And now the guy I thought was going to make a big impact on this defense, Xavier McKinney, the second-round pick out of Alabama, breaks his foot and is out for at least 2 months.
Yeah, it's not good, man.
So it's a tough spot for this team, Jeff. I know that you revel in it and we all of that, but this is a tough spot for this team and this coach. This can't be easy in the times normally. To coach this team under these circumstances, then to be doing it as a first year coach, and then to do it with all these injuries, Jeff, especially on one side of the ball. It's a tough start.
It is, and the thing that you don't realize is that it's just going to get so much fucking tougher in the coming months, because this is a team that is now built to crash and burn. Okay, and in doing so, they're going to end up firing Gettleman, which means that they're going to fire Judge, which means that they may even possibly go after a new quarterback because there's going to be no allegiance to this kid.
Here we go.
I'm just being honest, Tom. You want to talk about doing your homework and doing the right thing?
Here we go.
Do the right thing.
Here we go.
First off, look me in the fucking eyes, and tell me that Gettleman's going to be here next year at this time. Oh boy, here we go.
Yes. Yes. Gettleman will be here.
No way.
Yes.
I would rather listen to your opening monologue again in stereo this time.
I can repeat it if you like.
No, thanks.
But here's the thing. I disagree with you wholeheartedly. I think, first off, I think Gettleman's done a nice job putting this team together. I think Judge has been great so far. But it's hard. I mean, now, you're trying to put this team together. You got no preseason. You're 2 weeks from season start, and guys are dropping and basically only on one side of the ball. But how do you prepare? But right now, nobody's battle tested. And now here's the thing, Jeff. If you're a Judge, if you're a coach in this spot, are you less likely to put your team through heavy practices out of fear of getting more people hurt?
No, because you're not getting nothing. You're not getting anything this year. You brought it up and you said it the earlier this show or last show. We don't know what's going on with these teams. We don't know what kind of practice. We don't see anything. We don't hear nothing. There's hardly anything in the fucking news about it. Mm-hmm. We don't know. There's been more about Black Lives Matter at this point in time than there is about their practice regimen. Who just went on and in there with pads and everything else. But okay, you gotta think Dave Gettleman. Okay, some of the moves that this guy has made.
There we go.
In the last year. Don't take Baker. He trades up. He grabs Baker. That's one thing. Okay. Leonard Williams. He trades for Leonard Williams and then he signs him to a franchise tag. He's showing not to make smart moves. They hired Pat Shurmur, who, I mean, fuck me. I could have been a better coach than fucking Pat Shurmur. And you know that. Okay. So now we just don't know. But it does not look good, my friend. It does not look good. No. Matter of fact, I think Saturday will go better than the Giants season.
You know what? If that's, I got to tell you, if there's ever a time, I'm not that I'm dreading it. I'm just not as psyched as I thought I would be at this point because I could just see it all coming.
For what?
For Saturday, I could see it all coming.
Don't worry about Saturday. That's going to be the least. You should be more concerned about what's going to happen over the next 17, 18 weeks. That's what you need to be concerned about, my friend.
I'm telling you, I'm excited about this Giant team. I think this Giant team can score points. I love their linebackers this year. I think their defensive line is going to be good. I was uneasy about the secondary, and now I'm really uneasy about the secondary.
You know how you're going to be able to beat the Giants?
Oh, God.
Okay, I can tell you, I have just turned 54. I am 54 and a little bit more than a month old. Okay, I would have no problem right now suiting up and going to play against the New York Giants as a quarterback.
You would.
All I need from assurance from my team, from my defensive line, is 3 seconds. That's all I need. I just need my receivers to get past the linebackers at this point in time. That's it. And then ching, 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 and just throw fucking 12-yard fucking passes. Just catch them. That's all you got to do. We'll win. Okay? I'll even once in a blue moon, I'll start up the running game and throw the – go on, come on, Saquon. Go ahead. Go get your 0.3 yards. There you go. Look at that.
You done? Are you
22
done?
rushes, 26 yards for the game.
Are you done?
Yeah,
you
I'm
done?
almost done, man. So it's going to be so easy to play for the Giants or to beat them. All you got to do is just throw a pass. That's it. Throw a little dink and dunk passes. That's it. They're done.
No, guys, you're not dreaming. This is not Crackhead Central. This is the Hard Rock and Sports Show.
Dude,
That guy's Jeff Towinski. I'm Tom Florio. We're here every Thursday night, 6:30 to 9:30. Listen to Delusional Radio.
I can average 400 yards a game against them without even trying.
Delusional Radio. That's what we're going to call this from now
They
on.
would take me out. At my age, I would be taken out of the game by halftime. I'd maybe play a series after the half.
Jeff, with everything that's going on right now, and the one sport the one major sport going on, or hopefully going to go on, college football. With all that's going on, will you pay a little attention to college football? I mean, last year you did. You got into it a little bit. You watched a lot of Clemson games. Will you watch some college football this year?
I may, but I'm going to be watching a lot of things very closely this year, Tom.
Yeah, I know. I got a feeling I know what you'll be watching.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got my fucking magnifying glass under the scope, baby.
Yeah, it's cracked. Your mirror's cracked. But
Yeah.
we'll stay with the football thing.
As far as college football,
Mhm.
yes. Here's my issue with college football.
Okay.
I wish that they'd all get on the same page somehow, some way.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay?
I agree. I do. But I also think that if a division, a league doesn't want to play, those teams that want to play can go to another conference or start their own conference.
Well, once again, this is something that because everything was dragged out, it seems, until the last minute, maybe contingency plans were made. I don't know. But this is not something that you start doing now.
No, I agree with you.
Conference, let's put this team here.
I agree with you. I do. I agree with that. This is should be stuff that was talked about for months now. They should have had backup plans and contingency plans, and they should have been making decisions on what they want to do, 3 months ago. So I agree. But, I think, to me, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree in this, just somebody already disagreeing with me right now, but I think it'll hurt me more if there's no college football this year than if there was no pro football.
They have to make pro football. They have to.
I agree with you. I agree.
They have to, simply because I don't know what's going to happen with the salaries and everything else. But if they're guaranteed to the point where they have to pay them, they're going to want to have some sort of game somehow, some way to make some of that money back. You know what I mean? To pay these players. And being that most of these players are signed to the contracts that they are, you don't want the salary cap to go down. You need it to go up.
Correct. You're right. That's the problem is, the problem is the revenue is going to take a beating this year. Now, talking about the revenue, Jeff, I want to slide into the fans end of it.
Never mind. Before you slide into the fans, slide into this real quick. Clowney still hasn't signed.
Yeah.
So, and next year at this time, you may have a fucking list and a half of names that are not signed and playing on a team.
Well, but it will happen because players aren't going to want to go backwards in salary, and the cap's going to decrease because you're going to lose the revenue from the fans. So the cap is based on how much money was brought in each year. So I think I think next year when some of these guys are going to be free agents, I think you're going to have some issues.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, it needs to be bothersome if you think about it. You really think about it. It should be bothersome that Clowney is not signed.
Bothersome to who, though?
What's
to
that?
Him? To the fans? Who should be bothered by it?
To everybody.
Why?
And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Clowney, because he was holding out for a payday. He didn't get it. Okay?
He didn't deserve it either.
What happens, he doesn't play this year. That's a guy that's 1 year older that may not get a deal. To the fan that maybe wants to see certain players, now just throwing a name out here and there, let's say Drew Brees, let's say Roethlisberger or Rivers, okay? And now maybe next year they're going to turn around and say, you know what? We're not even going to talk to these people and entertain them because one of them, Rivers makes $25 million this year. He's not going to play for $8 million a year. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's all we're willing to sign him for. And he says, no, I'm worth more than $8 million. So now the player misses out. The fans miss out on watching that player.
Mm-hmm.
The teams that maybe needed that one player, a Phillip Rivers or somebody else or a Clowney, to get into the next step, which may be the playoffs. And once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. Now these teams suffer. So, you got owners, the NFL itself, the fans, the players, everybody that could end up, this doesn't work out right.
Right.
Just right now, it's just Clowney right now. But maybe next year, maybe it's 10, 15 different guys.
I think that's a strong possibility for next year, Jeff. I think the revenue's being down. I think the season's going to flip upside down. Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of guys who are going to be free agents next year that are going to suffer because of what happens this year.
Do you remember when the hockey, when they went on their lockout? I forget what year it was.
I was going to say which year.
90s.
Yeah,
Okay.
93.
And the Rangers, they had Mike Keane, Brian Skrudlin,
yes,
Shane Sherler on the team, all of these different guys. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they went out, the Stanley Cup got canceled, the playoffs got canceled.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden they came back. And all of these guys gone. Where did they go? And the same thing very well may happen to football. That you'll still see names, you'll still know the names. But I mean, I used to know just about every single guy on every single hockey.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
All of a sudden, these guys were gone. Like no explanation. Where did they go? They were just all gone.
Yeah.
And it was because of salary cap ramifications. Nobody wanted the older players no more. And it could happen in football.
I was just going to say it, Jeff. I think the bigger place that happens is football, because if you look at this Giant team, there's like one guy with 5 years on the team, and everybody else has got 2 or 3 years at tops. I mean, the turnover in football, and I've said it 100 times on the show, but to me, the cycle on a team is 4 years.
Yeah, well, listen.
4 years, you get a changeover in teams. There's so few teams that have guys. Think about those Steelers teams of the 70s, Jeff. Those guys all hung out for 10 years, and that's probably why they had such a bad run after, is that they got hung on too long. But, that's the problem.
No free agency, so you used to have these guys. You had a team that got old together.
Yes.
So then when all of a sudden one left this year, 2 next year, 7 the year after, you know what I mean? It probably just left in droves,
Yeah.
They didn't trade the players like they did now, and then even trades don't happen that often now in football. But free agency allows people to move around and go play in different areas, different teams.
Yeah.
It didn't happen back then.
I agree.
So a player was kind of, you got drafted by the Steelers, there you are with the Steelers.
Yeah, you were Steeler for life, pretty much. But speaking of teams and fans, I do want to get into this before the show ends. So there's no set guidelines from the NFL on what you can and can't do for fans. So I, for some reason, thought there was no fans this year. I don't know why I thought that. But then the Chiefs announced that their game one, which I think is the opening game of the season, it's Chiefs. Oh, man, it's a decent game. I'm trying to think. Anyway, so the Chiefs open up at home, and they're going to have about 16,000 people in the place, which is 22% of capacity. And I thought that's good. But then I realized, I said, let me go do a little research. And certain teams will have no fans at all this year. The Bears. Now, here's the interesting part. It's the Bears, the Raiders, who are now in Las Vegas, and the Washington Redskins. Now, also, guys, just so they will forever be the Washington Redskins on this show. We will not refer to them as. Although I do find it funny, the Washington football team I think is actually pretty funny.
Yeah, so.
But weird, Jeff, that those three teams all in different markets. So it's not like they're all in one place where you'd say, are they in a hot spot? I get it. They have decided they're going to have no fans this year, no matter what.
So, there's a lot of things. Even if you put fans in every other seat, right, which would cut back attendance by 50%.
Right.
All right. You're still not 6 feet apart.
Right.
Okay. One way or another, it's still not 6 feet apart, although you would be outside.
Correct.
Okay. So now, even if you were to do 1/3
Mhm.
Of filling the stadium,
Right.
would that be enough? Because you're still going to have people, you maybe have to put people in every other row, every 2 seats or whatever. But then again, you go to a football game, you bring your 6-year-old son, you're going to be told that you're going to sit 2 seats away from your 6-year-old son. You know what I mean? He may be bugging out all fucking game. You
Right.
know?
So that's the question. If you, me, and 2 of our friends went to a game, would we have to sit apart? Then why go to the game?
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I have to sit 4 seats from you and 4 seats to the other guy, how do we converse? Like, why go to a game together?
Yeah.
If that's the case.
And certain teams,
Mhm.
I heard we're gonna block off some of the first tier
Mhm.
so that they people couldn't get anywhere near the team, or they're gonna use it for the team, the first tier.
Yeah, I heard that they were going to put some of the players in the stands,
Yeah.
so that they open up the sideline and make it more room for people. I guess if you're on defense, you'll sit in the stands instead of sitting on the sideline.
I got to run to the next room. Go ahead, real quick.
Yeah, so guys, just make sure every week, every Thursday night, you come back to hear what we talk about here at the Hard Rocket Sports Show, live every Thursday night from 7 to 10, live on via a live stream. Do me a favor, share the show out to your friends. Let them know we're out here. I'm trying to retire. I want to start doing this for a living, although I'm starting to hate sports right now. I'm watching the RNC, which, guys, if you are you have a question about who to vote for, reach out to me. I'll tell you who to vote for. I'll tell you why you should vote for him. But if you have a half a brain, there's no way in the world you should be voting Democrat. And I know people say, Dom, you shouldn't say stuff like that because you're alienating people and people won't listen. I don't really care. I'm passionate about a lot of things, one of them being politics and the fact that I believe that our beloved 45th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, should get another 4 years. So make sure. Thank you, Sandy, for sharing it. I hope everybody keeps sharing it. I'm trying to retire, so somebody's got to get me signed up. One of these days, I got to hire somebody, like a manager. I need a manager for the Hard Rocket Sports Show. Somebody that go out there and spread the word and call radio stations and Sirius XM. If anybody out there has an in with Sirius XM, I would love to get some information. But if anybody knows anybody who's a manager or manages things and they can help the Hard Rocket Sports Show, Jeff and I, we want to retire and we want to do this for a living. So we need some help.
Not only do I want to do this for a living, but I just want to retire.
Yeah, you and me both.
That's all. I just fuck this work shit. I got up every day this week and my alarm is set at 4:30. Right? I don't know why I set at 4:30. I got to be to work at 7.
Yeah, and you work 3 minutes from your house.
Yeah. Well, which I have to leave my house at 6:30 so I get a parking spot.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to waddle from like 2 blocks away to my job. It's just not happening. All uphill, it's not happening. But I ended up snoozing the alarm for an hour.
Really? Getting
up, going to the bathroom, and going back to bed and continuing to snooze the alarm. I got the dog licking me like, come on, man, get up. And I'm like, no, snooze. Come on, lay down. My wife is like, you getting up for work? I'm like, nah, snooze. Go downstairs. Leave me the fuck alone.
Dude, my alarm goes off at 4 a.m. every day. It goes up and I'll snooze or just lay there till 4:15. And then I get up. I'm dressed.
What time do you go to bed?
It depends. Last night I go to bed till near midnight. I was watching the RNC. Most nights I would say, it depends. 10 o'clock, 10:30.
If I see midnight for any reason, it's because I got up to go take a squirt.
No, I've done it a few times. I can't do it as much anymore. But like I said, last night I didn't go to bed till midnight.
Yeah, I actually tomorrow going to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get a blood test. I draw my blood every so often because of the diabetes and shit.
Yeah.
But now I got to get a test on my thyroid because the doctor said there may be a problem with my thyroid.
Uh-huh.
And he says, well, it may make you a little tired and a little sluggish. So I'm kind of hoping that, they'll give me another fucking pill or something and perk me up for a little bit. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I actually have my own doctor's appointment coming up on Monday. First one in a long time. So
for what?
I got some clearing of the throat issues.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's happened for a very long time, and I guess I just tried to finally find out what it is. So we'll see. But
now, it hasn't happened to me.
Mhm.
But I'm going to tell you right now, the doctor's going to get you.
Yeah, I know. It's coming, Jeff. I know.
I tell my doctor, I'm like, listen, everything's fine. I'll let you know when you need to go in there.
Listen, he's gonna have to buy me dinner.
Yeah, they lie. They don't buy you dinner.
He have to take me to pick berries.
They just go and I'm like, oh.
He's gonna have to take me to pick berries if he's going in. He was going in that age, Jeff. If he's going in that direction, he better talk me into picking berries in the forest.
Grab it in a hole.
On Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom, 7 to 10 every Thursday night. We're hanging out, having some fun, talking about doctors and rectums. You never know what you're going to hear about here on the Hard Rocket Sports Show.
Now, listen, you got to be careful because if all of a sudden he changes, he's got Sirius radio in there.
Yeah.
He changes the stereo to like love songs or whatever. Softens the lights a little bit. You may want to watch.
If I hear zippers, I'm running, Jeff. I'll tell you right now.
Well, the first time out is never a zipper, Tom.
It's never a zipper.
Steve, we have a question. Any thoughts on the Seahawks this year?
Yeah, Jeff, you're more of a Seahawks fan than I am at this point.
No thoughts. Only because they're without Clowney and with Adams. Forget who almost cut his finger off, by the way.
Did he really?
Yeah, almost cut his finger off. I don't see the Seahawks winning that division. I think it's going to be the 49ers. Maybe they get a wild card spot.
I gotta tell you, I hate Pete Carroll, and I have since his Jet days and UFC days. That's a tough division. I mean, I think I do believe the Cardinals will be better this year. I always worry about the team that loses the Super Bowl. The trend is for that team to drop, so we have to worry about the 49ers. I actually think that's a tough division this year. I do. I believe that's a very tough division. I think as long as Wilson's healthy, that'll be a tough team. I'm not picking them to win it. I really don't think they're going to win their division, but I agree with Jeff. I think they're a wild card and they'll have some fun this year, but we'll see. I hate Pete Carroll, so I'll root against them. Sorry, Sandy.
What do you think that? What do you think that Adams is going to be the one that? Like they let Clowney go and then they pick up Adams.
Yeah.
Is that going to be enough for them?
No, Jeff. Here's the thing. First off, I don't think safety is that position on the field anymore where it's a dominant spot where you are changing of a game or changing of a team. So I don't believe that Adams is that guy. Two, I think that at some point he's going to want to get paid. And he's going to
want to get paid, man.
Yeah, and I believe at some point he will be a problem there. I think this will be something that will haunt Jamal Adams for his career, that he will never be satisfied. That kid
I don't know.
Baker got the highest paid safety contract, and I think that's where Jamal Adams is going to head to.
Look, you know what? Sandy's the one that asked the question, so let's ask her. What do you think? Does Adams sign a long-term deal with the Seahawks? Is he a Seahawk for life or what? See what she said. What do you do? I think that he picked the wrong year for this.
Yes, agreed.
Because if they drop the salary cap,
yes,
where's he going? How's he getting a deal now?
I agree with you, Jeff. It's the wrong year to be a free agent in football because one, I think that the play around the league is going to suffer, especially for the first month. No preseason games, no offseason to speak of. I think the play in the NFL takes a substantial hit. I think you could have, like you said, a stoppage or two during the season, and the chance. Yeah, she doesn't think so. By the way, the storm's hitting here now.
That means it's coming me way.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think that this is a very wrong year if you're an NFL free agent. I think if you're a free agent in any sport, but especially in the NFL. I don't think it'll preclude people from signing you, but they're going to have less money to do it.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, man. I think you're 100% right on that one.
Yeah, I haven't done my deep dive. It's hard to do a deep dive in football right now because I subscribe to Street and Smith. I read it every year. They do a breakdown of all the teams. It's a really great publication if anybody wants to. But the problem with it is,
Street and Smith.
Street and Smith. Yeah, I used to buy the hard copy every year. And for years, I had them going back into the 80s. I had a stack of them, and then I don't know. Somehow they got flooded, and my box with them all in there. But I do it online now, and it's a great it's a nice read. You can get, they break down every team and every maneuver they made for the off season, and they kind of break down each thing. And I find it to be very, very interesting, and it's a great little publication. But normally I do that, and then of course you're watching all the preseason games, and you're catching the highlights, and there's none of it. So I don't know how to handicap teams this year, Jeff. Like, to me, it's just I try to check every night, and especially this week is impossible. But
there's simply too much going on, and you're 100% right. It's so hard, to figure out like what's going to happen. I don't think you're going to see a team at its strength until way after the midway point of the season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Maybe week 12, 13, going near the last quarter of the season. Because listen, think of all of the practice that they lost, right?
Okay.
That's got to be the first 4 games of the season.
Yep.
Okay. Then the next 4 games would have been like the equivalent of playing the preseason. It's going to take some time. Some maybe early injuries, players coming back. And then once you go through, weeks 8, 9, 10, 11, stuff like that, there's going to be like the first quarter of the season that I wouldn't be surprised if you see most of the league hovering around 500. I don't think you're going to get a team that's going to go 12-0, 13-0.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I also think that injuries are going to play a big part of this year, Jeff, because I think, like in baseball's got a ton of injuries. I think that the lack of preparation, and right now they got the head of the police union, the PBA, Patrick Lynch, is at the RNC speaking. It's a big deal this year, Jeff, that all these police organizations are coming out for Trump. I think it's not surprising the way the Democrats have handled it, but I think they've never usually even take a candidate, let alone a Republican one.
Well, Tom, unfortunately, you got to look at the flip side of that, which people are going to turn around and say that, that this is because Trump is a militant or, stuff like that. So it could, although it is a sign of who's sticking where, it could be a sign of how bad things could go. And I don't think that this race is as clear cut as a lot of people think.
No. I listen, I'm predicting Trump in a landslide, but in reality, there's no way to know at this point. There's, normally I would say some people aren't going to even vote. I think there's such a strong not a pro-Biden. I don't think there's 10 people outside of his own family, and even then I think they question it, that actually think that Joe Biden would be a good president. I think that the vote for Biden is the anti-Trump vote. It's not a pro-Biden vote. It's an anti-Trump vote.
Just like the anti-Hillary.
Correct.
Vote.
To a certain extent, you're right. 100%. I won't argue that point. I think the same people who voted against Hillary, even though they were unclear about, are just as know about Biden. You can't look at that guy and say he should be president. I think Biden, it's just a matter of, are there 65, 70 million people who dislike Donald Trump enough to vote for Joe Biden? I think that's the question. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a scary thought either way.
Yep.
Of what could possibly happen.
Yeah, I agree. Again, just look at Big Bird here in New York. That's all I keep. I tell people that all the time that when we walk around, they complain. I go, remember, you're going to get the same thing out of Biden that you're getting out of Big Bird. So,
but here's the thing, though. Okay, you say that, and it's true. It's true. Can't argue it. But it's happening right now today.
Yep.
With him as president, and it's happening.
Agreed. Only again, I'll go back and say it. There's very little he could do to fix it because he cannot go into Kenosha without being invited. He cannot go into Chicago without being invited.
Maybe at certain times, it's you need to do what you need to do to save the country, overall country. And
it's illegal.
Now,
it's illegal. He can't send the troops in.
It might not be the right decision now. But it could turn out to be the right decision in a year and change from now. That's what I worry about. Don't.
Again, yeah.
I'd rather be sorry tomorrow for doing what I did instead of saying that 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 3 years from now, that I should have done this and that, because now look at it now. It's completely gone. It's collapsed.
Right. And that's the model you should be thinking about for New York City. 8 years ago when Big Bird got in there, nobody thought, well, he might not be the best candidate, but I'm going to vote for him. What's the worst that could happen? And now we're looking at what the worst could happen.
And listen, I see Sandy. She says it's up to the governors and mayors. I understand that. Totally understand that. But you know what?
And Sandy lives in the Seattle area, so she knows exactly what's going on.
And it shouldn't fucking bother. It shouldn't be that way.
No.
It shouldn't. That is one of the stupidest things to say. That it's up to the governors and mayors.
Yeah.
It completely fucking pigeonholes the president.
Yep.
Yeah, you should turn around and say, listen, you run those towns and those cities, but you're fucking losing a state. You're losing the states.
Yeah.
Okay? If it continues to spread, which it will, because I don't care what color the state is, that sooner or later they're going to be like, it happened there, we could take this one. And if they don't do something, it's not going to be good.
That's why, but that's why you're not seeing it. Look, in Texas came out and said, we're pro-police. If even in their own state, if you defund the cops in Texas, they defund you. So the governor came out and said, you do whatever you want. We think it's wrong. But if you defund the cops, we defund you. And it's turned into, it's only right now happening, and maybe you're right, Jeff, but it's only happening in Democratic cities or Democratic-run states.
Well,
so
listen.
Until I see it happen, Tennessee, they threatened to go in, and the Tennessee guys said, don't even think about it. We will wipe you out. So
they should wipe them out because they're not, if they were peaceful protesters, which they're not.
Which they're not. Let's where we see it, yes.
None of them are peaceful. You don't burn buildings, loot businesses, shoot people, fuck people up.
Nope.
You don't do it. That's not peaceful. That's not being peaceful. You want to be peaceful? Maybe you lay down in the middle of the street during rush hour and you cause a traffic jam. Okay? But nobody gets hurt.
Correct.
When they pull you out of the way, you yell and you scream and stuff like that, and you get on TV and your message is heard. Okay? But it's just not good. None of it is good.
Nope. Everybody has to vote their conscience. And between now and November 3rd, we'll have a little stuff. And again, November 3rd, I'm going to be on the air. I hope maybe Jeff will be with me. I know it's his anniversary, so maybe not. But I'm going to be on the air talking about the election as it's happening. I don't know how long we'll be on the air. We'll be on for a while. I don't think, Jeff, they're going to announce a president for days at least after this, with the way things are going right now with this mail-in voting and all that. I think it's going to be days before you know who's the president of the United States.
I don't know, but I know that I saw a meme. Okay. I know you can't get your news from a meme. I understand this. Okay. But the meme was great. And the meme pretty much said, you can't handle putting people on unemployment. What makes you think that you're going to be able to handle a presidential election through mail-in voting? Okay.
I wholeheartedly agree. Jeff, do you know that there was the woman who was Carolyn Maloney? She's a senator from New York. She had an election a couple months back. She just did she's chairwoman of one of these committees. She brought in the Postmaster General to grill him on why he can't, make this all work, and is he working with Trump to sandbag mail-in voting? Do you know that her election? Now, this is just one small section of New York. It took them 6 weeks to figure out if she won or not, because they were so screwed up. Could you imagine 80 million, 100 million ballots going in and out, trying to figure out which ones are legit and which ones aren't?
No, of course not.
I think it's impossible. I would tell you, I have no problem with it. Like, absentee voting is okay. You, Jeff Twinski's side, you don't want to go to the polling place. You send out the message, I need my ballot. They send it to you. You mail it back. It's fine. For them to send out 80 million ballots, have no idea where it's winding up, is a problem. Second part of it is you don't have the system down. Take 4 years. The next election, have it set up where you kind of build it into it, and you get a system down. You put special mailboxes, and you have special places that they count it. You work on a system, but you don't do this 3 months before one of the biggest election we have Makes no sense to me.
And the biggest election that we have had in years.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
I
just
thought
the
4
biggest
years ago was
election
big.
we
This is bigger.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
You
yeah.
know? So to me, but this is why I can't trust. First off, I'll never vote Democrat again. I can't imagine in my lifetime, after everything I've seen for the last 4 years, that I would ever do it. After watching Big Bird and Fredo's brother run New York, you couldn't pay me to vote Democrat. I voted Democrat in the past. I voted for Bill Clinton the second time around. I voted against George Bush Jr. both times.
We all have.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't consider myself Republican. I am a conservative, but I would not consider myself, I would consider myself an independent. I think most people are independents. Whether you,
I don't think that anybody should actually hold themselves to one party just because I am a registered Democrat. You know why?
Why?
Because when I was 18 and I asked my mother, I'm like, what do I do here? And my mother said, well, we're Democrats, so put down Democrats. So I'm like, okay. Meanwhile, I had no idea what was going on.
I agree.
All I know is just like I get to vote. I think, and I believe it was a presidential election. And I was like, I get to vote for the president. I want to vote.
Yeah.
So I put it down. Now, when you go in there, that paper, that card that says you're registered as such and such, that means nothing. You vote for who you want to vote.
Correct.
For.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I voted for Republicans. I voted for Democrats. I've just voted for whoever when I get there.
Listen, I told you I voted against George Bush both times. I voted. I don't know. I didn't vote for Barack Obama. I didn't think he had enough experience, and I was right. He was a terrible president. But this time around, it's important. And again, all I say to people is just look around the Democratic Party right now, and do you have the faith that anybody who has the sign under their name, Democrat, has the ability to run anything short of a hot dog stand? And even then, I wouldn't buy a hot dog. Sorry, I'm not confident.
It's not something that you can argue, Tom.
Yeah,
really not. Their ideals are just like, how do you expect this to work?
Yeah, well, that's the problem. So even if
here's the thing too,
yeah.
Okay, let's just say that whatever it is that they want to do turns out to be a good idea. I'm not saying it is. Let's just say, okay. Do you think that you're going to change an entire country on a dime?
No.
Okay, it would take decades for this to happen, and in that time frame, okay, you may get a Republican president that's going to turn around and say, "We're not doing this."
Correct.
Go back the other way.
Correct.
Now, all you're starting now, this is the beginnings of a tug of war.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, that's going to go on for fucking years and years and years until you get a guy to come up and say, "Listen, I am here to unite the people," and sticks with it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, again, I think change is always good, Jeff. I think that,
depends on the change, Tom. Depends on the change.
Well, again, here's the thing.
I could change your peanut butter to shit. Does that mean it's a better change?
No, you're absolutely right. But I think that, let me say that change is good. I say that change for the better is always good. I don't have a problem if you say, hey, I think we should get away from fossil fuels and start getting into a cleaner energy and a different energy. I don't have a problem with that. Work on it. Get it in. But to walk in today and say we're wiping out the coal industry, the gas, that's why Hillary lost. She wanted to wipe out coal, gas, and now we're the number one producer we're exporter of fuels. It's a big difference and a moneymaker for this country. So I'm okay with things maybe being changed, but you can't radicalize this country the way. And the problem with the Dems, everything's for free. Yeah, free college. Yeah. We'll get free medicine. Jeff, nothing is free.
No, of course not. And just to show you're saying about the fuels, okay? I could fuel up my truck. I drive a truck. You've seen my truck. Okay, I don't know what I'm getting, 275, 300 miles a tank. I don't know. I never ran it dry. I don't know. That's what the little gauge says.
Yeah.
That's what I got to listen to. At work, there was no truck for me. So I've been, and then especially the last couple of hot days, I've been using this little electric car because the air conditioner just kicks ass in it. So when I leave it on charge overnight and I go to use it in the morning, it says 90 miles till you have to charge it again.
Right.
90 miles.
90 miles.
90 miles. Okay.
Wow.
As soon as you start it up, it flashes 90 miles, and then it goes through. It sounds like a computer starting up the car. Okay, and then all of a sudden the thing's down to 84 miles. It's like, what happened?
Just to start the car.
Okay, just then, if you put the radio on and the air conditioner on, it's running off of something.
Yeah, sure.
You know, if you use the power windows, it runs off of something.
Mm.
It has a seat warmer. Don't even think about using a fucking seat warmer. You got to be kidding me if you use a seat warmer. And I was on the other side of the island, South Shore.
Yeah.
And the car had like, I don't know, 25 miles till it needed to be charged. So I was like, I better start heading back. Good thing I did that, because as I was heading back, by the time I got there to the garage, it was at 9 miles and the thing was fucking blinking.
Wow.
Like, am I going to make it? Because if it dies, it's not one of these things like you could just, okay, push it over to the side of the road and call for help.
Yeah.
It's electric. It has to be running to do any kind of function.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It'll just stop like dead. You can't push it. You can't, like, it's a major problem if this car goes dead. You know, it's unfuckable. Nissan car's as fast as a jet. You know, you get on the highway and just watch it right down. You know, it's unbelievable.
You know, again, the technology, work it out. It gets better and better. Maybe next year you're going 120 miles instead of 90. I'm all for change if it makes it better, but I don't believe in entitlements. I don't believe people are entitled to anything. I'm not saying people don't need help. I'm not saying you can't help people, but if you choose to go to college and you want that education, that's your ass. You pay for it. You know, I'm not paying for you to go to college so that way you can go there and become a bartender and not fulfill the $60,000 debt you just came up with. So
hey, listen, unfortunately, people who think that they're gonna just stave off life by usually going to school, it doesn't always work out for them. And it's like you said, somebody's got to pay for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do I got to pay for your fucking your education? I'm just no reason for it.
100%, 150%. I agree with you. So that's why here's one thing. We'll end the show on this, Jeff. All I ask for people like yourself who don't really have a dog in the fight, you don't have a horse in the race, do the research. Look up what these guys have accomplished. Look at their records. Look at what they want to give you, what they want to do for your country. I would suggest you watch Trump tonight. He's probably about an hour from now, maybe a little less. He'll be doing his speech at the RNC. You know, if not, YouTube them. Watch each one. You know, learn about it and make the informed decision. I always tell people, don't just go by personality, because Jimmy Carter was the nicest human being in the entire world and the worst president of all time. David Dinkins was a nice man who was a horrendous mayor of this city. Only mayor worse than him is Big Bird now, who's in office now. So being a great guy does not make you a good president or a good politician. So I just ask everybody, do your due diligence and then make the best decision.
You could listen to whatever they got to say. This is the part that gets me too, and the part that worries me about all of this. You could listen to what anybody has to say, but are they going to deliver? Do they deliver? And
well,
somebody that's in
Trump,
office, like Trump. You could see what he's done. The newer guys that haven't been in office yet, and they say, "Well, listen, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to make this better." You just don't know if they're going to do it, so you're kind of taking a chance.
Absolutely. That's why I say with Trump, Jeff, again, promises made. The guy came and said, I'm going to fix immigration. I'm going to build a wall. He did it. He said, I'm going to cut your taxes. He did it. Promises made is huge. I had the same attitude about politicians, especially presidents, that most people have, and maybe that you have, is that I just said, what's the difference? They don't do it. They promise you the world. They do shit. Trump's been the one guy that in my lifetime, he said, I'm going to do these 4 or 5 things, and he went and did. Now, for me, I want to know a little bit more about what he's going to do the next 4 years. You're starting to hear it, but I need to know what's his agenda. Now, again, he could tell me I'm going to do nothing but show up and dunk my balls in warm water every night. I'm voting for him over Biden. But I think it's fair to people like yourself who want to know, hey, Trump, you've done this, great. What are you doing now? What's next?
Well, It's hard to say,
Yeah.
no matter what he says, because when you have Congress that's not working with you, working against you,
Yep.
it's not easy.
Nope, absolutely. But he
No,
still
no.
managed to
That
get
means-
all these things done with that job.
You
He
know,
managed all these things. He's a law and order president. Biden just came out today for the first time and said, well, there shouldn't be any of these riots. It's really not a good idea. Oh, thanks, Joe. Thanks for waking up today.
yeah,
Appreciate you. Thanks for showing up, Joe. Do you know where you are? Did you get any ice cream? How about Jello? Did you get any Jello today, Joe? Meatloaf. You want some meatloaf, Joe?
I got that, man. I got that stuff.
You still got
Yeah, I still got that. Where? I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. The volume. Meatloaf.
That's one handsome guy there, I gotta tell you. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. Jeff, you got anything else you want to finish with?
No, dude, is you know what started off as like a little down and depressed show. I know that you weren't 100%
Nope.
into it. It definitely picked up a little bit, went in the right direction. It
Absolutely.
always does. We didn't talk any music tonight. I don't think.
Nope, not a bit. Not a bit of music tonight. We'll get that back in next week.
Yeah, we gotta find some music shit.
You know, it's so tough, Jeff, because there's nobody doing anything. Nobody's putting out anything. They're putting out a single here. You know, I get some offers. There's no big bands out there promoting shit. It's been really tough.
Because who are you gonna promote? Promote what? You know what I mean? You could if you had an album out, you're definitely not touring it. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, hopefully things will calm down a little bit by next week and we'll get more sports back on. We'll start ramping up the football talk. We'll talk a little more college, and we'll get ready for the NFL season. So we'll do it again next week. But yeah, I have to tell you, I want to thank you because I started this show. I didn't want to do it. I'm very down in the dumps this afternoon, and
don't be, man. Don't be. You know what? This everything that's going on. Remember this one thing. I have no idea what I'm talking about. That's one thing.
Right.
Okay? Second of all, there's nothing that me or you are going to be able to do to change it. You just have to go out on election day, vote for who you think is the best candidate, and put your faith behind that person. And then whoever wins, hope that they do the right thing regardless and try to get this country back in order. You know, better days have to come. It can only sink so much.
I agree.
You know, and we have something to look forward to Saturday.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter who the president is when we're up there fucking playing.
Yes, that's true.
You know,
Jamming.
so, you know, it is what it is, and it'll start to. It's going to start, man. I don't know when, but it's going to start. It's got to start. It has to. You know?
I agree. I'm just thanking Sandy. She's very kind.
Yeah, I see that. Thank you.
And yeah, so listen, Jeff, I agree. I'm so looking forward to Saturday getting together. I'm looking forward to next Thursday night when Jeff and I get back together. And hopefully I won't have a stick up my ass and I'll have some fun. But I want to thank the doctor, Carmine Glorioso, for checking in tonight. And that put me right onto back onto my good spirits. Thanks to my partner in crime, Mr. Jeff Nowinski, for putting up with me in the beginning of the show and for every week. And don't forget, November 3rd, I'll be on the air. The show will be on the air. We'll see who's going to be on with us to do on election night. And also, starting the first Sunday of the NFL season, we'll do a little extra Sunday morning show talking football for an hour, just running through the games and offering our analysis and talking about the big matchups for the day. So make sure you stick around, check that out. Go to our website, hardrocketsports.com. And make sure you come back every Thursday night and hang out with me and Jeff. You just never know what we're about to talk about. You never know. We went from berry picking. We had some proctologist conversations. We talked politics tonight.
Yeah, listen, too much of the berry picking and proctology, man. That's not good. All I know is that I ain't going berry picking, and I certainly ain't going to no fucking proctologist anytime soon. But tomorrow I am going to the doctor.
Oh.
But here's hoping that he's not proctologisting on the side, so to speak. What is that? You know?
That's one sound you don't want to hear.
No.
That's one
Especially
sound.
if your doctor turns around and be like, do you know what the Dirty Sanchez is? Well, yes, I do.
On that note, guys, I want to thank everybody for who stuck around tonight, and
Hey,
thanks to
listen, I gotta-
Carmine. And
I got to ask a question while you're on the air. Okay, I'm torn.
about
Saturday about what bass to use.
well, first I'm going to ask the question: are we tuning down or up?
I have no idea.
That's the question because I
No
I
idea.
switched to
I would
guitar
send-
tunings this year.
Being that Jimmy hasn't answered, still hasn't answered Joe's text. I don't know if that seed's going to happen or not.
Yeah, because I changed the tunings. I last year I had the Gibson tuned standard, and I had the Strat tuned down. I reversed it this year, so the Gibson now is tuned down a half a step. I was
Okay.
hoping we were going to go normal so I can use the Strat, but
All right, so you know what? Bring the Strat. We'll tell Jimmy. We'll send the text out tomorrow. You know, but now that leaves me.
go ahead.
What bass do I bring?
That's a quick question,
Because I have the new Music Man,
right?
okay, which I used once with somebody else.
Okay,
I just went and played a show, but it was an acoustic show.
yeah,
So I would like to try out that bass. And then I have my one Mexican Fender with the
uh-huh.
gold pick guard that's tuned to A
Uh-huh.
or 440. And then I have another Fender that I just change the tunings whenever the fuck I want or to whatever I want. So I just don't know which ones what I'm gonna use.
Yeah. Well, to me, if we're going standard, I will have the Strat. I'm looking forward to. I'd like to go a little old school. So hopefully we'll play more than one song. I will. We'll see. We'll see. Tomorrow night I got a little practicing to do. I got to get a little boned up on a couple more of the songs just to make sure I reinforce it.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I would do some now, but it's too late.
Yes.
I may have to listen to some songs. I
Yes.
know how to handle really good.
You got that nailed.
Yeah. And what other song? Hard to Handle, Running Free.
Cold Gin.
I have not played Running Free since Thornburger. So I'm going to try to go over that one tomorrow.
How about Cold Gin? Did you figure out Cold Gin?
I've been going over Cold Gin. There's been issues with Cold Gin,
That's
but
pretty.
I think I'm going to be okay because I got to. Actually, I forgot what it even sounds like. So,
That's one song you can follow me on. I promise you. That one you can follow me on.
well, the bass is doing a little bit different than the guitar, but
But you can get away with following the guitar if you had to. The Mama Kin, like I said, it's a lot of changes. There's a lot of little nuances to that song. It's not a bad song. I'm not an Aerosmith fan, but it's enough.
why?
I like it enough.
Why
Huh?
Mama Kin?
I didn't pick it. That's
I know
your
you
singer.
didn't pick it. I
The
know.
singer.
What else was there? There was another song too, right?
And Ball and Chain.
No, there was something else. There was 6 altogether.
Hard to Handle, Cold Gin, Running Free,
Mama Kin.
Mama Kin. Now you make me lose my.
Something else.
Yeah, there's 2 more. Hold on. I'm drawing a blank. Running Free, Mama Kin, Ball and Chain. Wow. Oh, I got it on my thing here.
All right, don't worry about it.
No, it's because it's going to bother me. So before we sign off, I'm going to figure it out.
Oh boy.
2 seconds. It's right here. Where's the voice text? Okay, it's right there.
No, I got some Chinese food waiting for me when I get off the air. I
Nice.
gotta go buy a soda. Them fucking slopes. I forgot my soda before.
Oh boy. Walk All Over Me is the other song.
Walk all over you, right?
Walk All Over You. I had that. Hard to Handle, Ball and Chain. I'm good. Walk All Over You. I got Running Free. I'm good. Cold Gin. Mama Kin's the one. I gotta go. I'll get it. But
I have an excuse.
I have an over and under for it. Over and under is 3. The number of songs we actually play.
Under.
I will tell you, if we play under 4,
I can
under
watch
4
this
songs.
move. Watch this move. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna show you something, and this is gonna be somebody that you know. See if you know who this is. That's what it's gonna be. As soon as the lyrics come, he's gonna be like that. Because he's not gonna remember a single fucking lyric.
That is a classic look. That is the classic
That's the
look.
smile. I'm fucking telling you. You nudge me. This is exactly what you're gonna see. I'm telling you. I could see it already. Fucking classic John. That's what it's gonna be.
4 and under, and this is the one and done. We don't get through 5 songs, we're done. I'm telling you right now.
Well,
But we'll
listen,
see.
it all depends on who jets. Okay,
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
yeah. I got my pick on that one, so we'll see. But
There may be more than one. Don't worry about it. But we will be. Listen, we're just going to replace.
that's it. We're
We're
gonna figure it out.
I already know people that I got a singer.
I hope that we show up, we get through it all, and we stick it out because I really am excited to jam with everybody, and I'm looking forward to it. But we got to end the show so Jeff can go eat his Chinese food and move on. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to Carmine, my dad, Rafael Esparza with his bi-weekly spot. Thanks to my good partner and crime, Mr. Jeff Tomwinski. Thanks to everybody who paid attention to us this week. And we look forward to next Thursday when we do it all over again. Everybody have a safe, happy weekend. Stay dry and stay safe. And hopefully we'll get a little sports. Jeff, you got anything you want to finish with?
No, man, I'm just looking forward to Saturday, hanging out with everybody. And, I'm going to attempt to run to the store now and get me that soda that them fucking pan faces didn't bring.
Well, on behalf of Jeff, myself, everybody here in Hard Rock and Sports.
The best part is Facebook. Fuck you. You cannot throw me off here, man, because I'm not actually on Facebook.
It's true. He's 100% right. But for Jeff, myself, and everybody here at Hard Rock and Sports, I say good night. Enjoy your weekends, and we'll see you next Thursday night right here on the Hard Rock and Sports Show tonight. All right, Pepe. Catch you later, man.
Down with the nips, man. Later.
Later.